Good morning.
Okay. Morning.
Okay. We are on the clock, gentlemen. Everybody turn your mics on. I will open this meeting of the DeKalb County Commissioners, and the date is December 19th, 2022, and the temperature is about the same, 19.
Right.
Welcome everyone in the audience. Dottie, what you got this morning?
Well, good morning. This is like show and tell this morning. I brought in Angela Brown, your new director out at Sunny Meadows. And I know you guys already knew her from the interviews, but just wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to chat with her a little bit this morning. I know we've got a lot of things going on today. But important to make every new person feel very welcome. So, Angela, I don't know if you have anything to say, and you guys, whatever.
Well, I was just saying, good morning, everybody. It's a lot out there. I'm just trying to take everything in, and I was meeting with some employees this morning, so it's a lot to meet, try to get everybody, the residents, all their names, and it's a lot to take in, but I am ready for it.
Just don't get arrested or get in trouble in town, because my stepdaughter's name is Angela Brown.
Oh, geez.
And she lives in Auburn.
Really? I didn't know we had another one. Morning.
Anything else? Just piling into it?
Well, I moved in over the weekend, and it's
good.
just been, kind of crazy there, and trying to find, I couldn't even find my shoes this morning, so we just moved in and just getting my bearings in there, and I think everything seems like it's going okay out there at this point. I was talking with Jenna this morning, just trying to, there was just a lot of things that I found, like, out in the hallway, lots of clutter. I just, talked to her a lot about all that, get all that stuff. She had said that one of the residents has dementia and has not been, getting his stuff put away, and it's really bad in the hallway. And just, I'm just kind of got a whole list of things to get cleaned up out there already, and it's going to be good. I'm excited, though. I'm really excited. Everybody's really great out there, and it's going to be fun.
How was the residence? Was it satisfactory as far as when you moved in, all cleaned up and ready for you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was really great. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
definitely. Yeah. It's huge.
Is it?
It is pretty big, yes.
Don't get lost in that spooky basement at night.
Oh,
Been there, done that.
definitely. I have gotten turned around, so.
I will get with you later this week. We have 4 residents that still need to have assessments done.
Okay.
So those need to be scheduled with the OT. We don't need to do that your first day.
Okay.
Yeah,
But later this week.
Okay.
great.
Okay. Any other comments? Wish you well, and
Yeah.
good to have you on board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great to be on board. Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing what you can do out there.
Definitely.
Great.
Okay, Dottie.
Well, Angela, if you will wait for a little bit, let me take care of some more business with them, and then we'll go meet a few more people.
All right.
Up here. Let's see. I had sent you a job description for the county attorney, since we were going with a new attorney, starting fresh. Rick Ring mentioned that in all reality, the county attorney and the attorney for council are contract employees. And so they've not been included in any of our job classification studies. They haven't been in the most recent review. And so maybe we don't need job descriptions. So anyway, I wanted to bring that to your attention, that was a kind of a discussion going back and forth with job classification subcommittee.
If they're contracted, can we offer them insurance? Do we,
Well, I think that might be, is that Indiana code, Rick?
mic on?
Gotta play by
the
the
button.
rules.
What is expected of the attorneys should be delineated in their contracts, number one. And I would assume that the contract says that they are not employees.
Well, I am an employee for Monday work. I am,
Okay,
okay? And I get paid a salary for that. And that covers the basis.
okay, well then that, if it's in the contract, then yes, I guess you could offer them insurance. I don't have a
Yeah,
problem
I've
with
had
that.
it
But
for
since we're
18
contracting them, that should be their job description is what's in that contract.
And I haven't looked at that in like forever, but I can tell you that for 18 years, I've qualified for health insurance until the last several, once I hit
65?
many years ago, unfortunately. And Darrell Cruz had it before me, and Charlie Winans had it before me, and I don't think I think that was the beginning of civilization, maybe. when
Well,
Charlie
and, you know,
got
just put it in the contract, because
Yeah,
no,
document.
You've got that, you don't
yeah.
need to be double covered by a job description and a contract. Just put it all in the contract. And if you want to pay them health insurance, I don't think anybody has an issue with that. That can be part of it.
That was a big part of accepting the job, way back then, and I know it was important to Don Stuckey for the council.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So do those need updated? I've never seen a contract for our attorneys since I've
I
been
can't
here.
tell you, I've seen it in a long time.
I have a copy of Jim's contract, but I've never seen Don's.
Yeah, we'll probably need to rewrite it anyway due to
Yeah.
how we worded the
And that's an easy
application.
enough thing that could have happened. At the time, I was representing, for a time, I represented both the council and the commissioners. Ben was concerned about, he was concerned? Some big thing that we wanted to have, do you remember what that was?
No, just, I think there are opportunities.
There are,
They felt that it was best.
and I had no problem with it. I signed, I told them I had not, I didn't.
Gentlemen, we're carrying on a conversation that's not being picked up by the mics.
Oh. I was making eye contact, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Enough said.
I have gotten word that we're not always being picked up. If we
Gotta be
get
close to the
More than 3
mic.
feet away from the mic, or we turn our heads away from the mic, it's not going into the system. And so we got to be a little more conscientious of, Dottie does a great job. And anyway, we got to be a little more conscientious of using these mics. And
Tell you Zoom a lot, you're on and off that thing, huh?
I just do a lot of theater.
There you are.
Next topic. How about that?
We do have a copy of Shannon's Drainage Board attorney contract if you need a
Okay.
template or anything too. So,
That's-
whatever.
What we did a little different too, Rick, is we had them bid on the job, and that, their bid includes doing all the work except for litigation. So we need to word that properly in the contract. They're aware, Mr. Cruz is aware of his duties, but we need to put it in ink, especially since it's an attorney.
Now, if we could only find an attorney to write up a contract.
Yeah, now we need an attorney to write up a contract. Don't let the attorney you're hiring write up the contract, right, Jim?
That's right.
Okay.
And don't let a car salesman.
I agree with that 100%. That print will be so small, no one will be able to read it, so.
I'll draft something up for you guys to look at.
okay.
All right.
All right, Dottie.
Yes. Our work comp claims, we have several that have closed. We had one from Sunny Meadows that had been going on since September of 2021, and that one actually closed finally in November with a permanent partial impairment payout. And we had one from the highway and 4 from the sheriff's department that closed last month. But we still have one in subrogation from the Change Academy. That was the one where from February of 2021, the employee slipped and fell on the ice, and IPEP is haggling with the insurance company of the landlord. So that's going on. And then we have 4 open ones with the Sheriff's Department. The biggest one is from October of 2020, and that was the training the canine and pop in the right shoulder. That one's been going on 3 surgeries later. We're hoping that we're getting down to the end. The other ones, one of them is in subrogation. If you recall that accident, there was a vehicle accident. They were transporting an inmate, and so once again, haggling with the other insurance company. So IPEP does a really great job for us. You know, they work on our behalf. They work on behalf of the employees. That one that has been going on since October of 2020 with the 3 surgeries. They had assigned a nurse for guiding and being there actually at the doctor appointments. So there's been an awful lot of time and effort put into this one to make sure that the employee is as whole as possible, and that the county is taken care of as well. The last thing, because as I said, I know you guys have a bunch of stuff going on today, along with our meeting later with EPIC. We have an anthem meeting on January 17th. That's kind of an update meeting from 10 to about, 11 or 12 in the White Room, the basement, in the annex. So if you're at all available, one or a couple of you to attend that would be great. We'll try to see how much more information we can get so that we can really keep pushing toward the self-insurance project that you guys want. So hiring here, we're doing pretty well. Sunny Meadows is now staffed fully. The clerk's office, the clerk starts today, and we have, of course, confinement officers, road deputies are needed, and Community Corrections has the part-time juvenile facilitator out at Change, and that's really it for them, knock wood. So really, we're doing pretty well. I think I can't remember if Ben still has an open position, or he will with a retirement coming up sometime soon, but he'll probably going to wait until after snow season. You know, it's hard to bring somebody in to train them, especially when it's all hands on deck and craziness. So probably not. Anyway, that's really my short list that I had. What do you guys have for me?
Anything for Dottie, Todd, Mike?
Yep.
I think probably Ben is not in a hurry until summer projects come up. He's always needing more help in the summer. So wintertime, everybody's pretty much assigned to their zones and areas, and that's pretty much covered. So, yeah, I think he's in no big hurry.
Yep.
I think that's all.
Okay. I will see you guys later.
Okay. Have a good day. Stay warm. Okay, we zoomed right through that, and let's go move on to claims. Approve claims. Get a chance to read the claims.
Second.
Motion second to approve claims. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. Minutes. Any problem with minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Minutes, motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Had a little bit of travel, not a lot.
Yep.
Pretty cheap.
One was a
cheap
zero,
travel.
so,
Yeah.
Cheap travel. I'll move to approve travel.
second.
A motion and a second. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay.
Excuse me.
You want to try to get into board appointments? Got about 12 minutes, 13 minutes.
I think we have time.
Mike has made a suggestion that we approve the first block in one motion and do the plan commission and what the
Peter
PTA,
Boa,
BOA board separate.
Funny name, Pita Boa.
Peter Boa.
Peter Boa.
So
I
I
couldn't
will,
say it, so I couldn't pronounce it, so I spelled it.
Right.
that works.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll make a motion to approve the following as a slate.
Okay.
As Commissioner Attorney Andrew Cruz, Alcohol and Tobacco Commission Terry Rail, Drainage Board Ag Representative Sandy Harrison, Sunny Meadows Superintendent Angela Brown, Airport Authority Jesse Myers and John Chalmers, Council on Aging Rod Knox, EMS Oversight Committee Brady Thomas, Garrett Public Library Tina Woolridge, Redevelopment Authority Ron Dickey, Bruce Lobb, and Jay Jacobs, Redevelopment Commission Chris Pranger, Shelley Smaltz, and Dennis Cruz.
The redevelopment commission, well, go ahead, Todd. Do you want to second this before we have comments?
I'll second that.
Okay, now we can do comments. In the redevelopment commission, I had talked to Dave Swager, and he's okay with not being reappointed. And so Chris Pranger will be taking his place. Dennis is on board,
Dennis is on board, Shelley's on board.
and so there's another, what, one or two appointments that won't be reappointed?
Yeah, that would be, well, Bill Holler asked not to be reappointed, and the other one would be Kevin Webb.
Okay.
Dave has done a great job over the years in a lot of places for the county, so I'm glad he was okay with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he just is, he has good days and bad days. That was the day I visited him, he had a good day, and last I heard, he wasn't having such good days, so it's, you know, he's
That's a
just
shame.
not functioning very well. But anyway, so we have a,
Hey, Bill, can I just say something about Dave? It's on.
Done? Okay.
I didn't turn it off the last time. About Dave. Now, I've worked with the county commissioners either as EMS director or as a representative of the hospital or being on the county council since 1975. And Dave Swager was one of those county commissioners. And I have to say that of all the county commissioners I've ever worked with, Dave was one of the best, and he was dedicated to this county. And we really need to appreciate the service that he gave us all these years. So
yeah. He was also on council then, wasn't he, after
I
commissioner?
don't remember him ever being on council. He was a commissioner.
He was, yeah.
He was a commissioner.
If I could add, I agree with everything you just said. And I think it should be noted, just for the other people that are here, you would know that. But he was an original member of the Redevelopment Commission and was a very strong advocate for SDI. And, you know, look at how we've benefited from that. And he had the vision to do it in line with many, many opponents. So I just wanted to add that to what you said.
And not only he was a good commissioner, but he actually was a commissioner from the other party.
Yeah,
Yes.
Democrat, yeah. Yeah,
But-
that was when
but you know-
Democrats were Democrats.
I've accused him from time to
exactly.
time about being a Republican
That's been a
with
long time.
Democrat clothing on.
I've been tossing this around, maybe sometime after the first year, we have some kind of a event or a resolution to present to David, maybe, see if he can come in
I
and
think
do
that's,
something.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should-
He's
we
been
should
trying a
recognize
long,
that.
long time,
Yeah.
weights and measures for, what, 15, 20 years? And of
Okay.
course, was commissioned before that, so.
That's a great idea.
I agree.
Okay, let's think about that. Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Any other discussion? And I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. Now, we'll move on to the Peter Board.
So we need to pass two waivers for that to happen. So I will first make a motion that we waive the requirement that no more than 3 of the 5 Peterborough members can be of the same political party.
And we can do that because we have no interest from the other party, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
So make sure
no-
we're following.
No participation.
Following the law correctly. I'd second that.
A motion and second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries.
And second, I would make a motion that we waive the requirement for a level 2 or level 3 certification for Peterborough members.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. What in a short, what's a short definition of a level 2 or level 3 certification?
That's, it's basically an assessor's accreditation. And that's a requirement for Peterborough members, also a requirement for the assessor.
Right.
But if you can't find people that fit those qualifications, the statute allows to waive that.
The way that. Pretty hard to find, I would imagine.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion.
Yeah.
Second, additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries.
All right, then finally, I will move that we appoint Ron Dickey, Shar Sunken, and Linda Middleton to the Peterborough Board.
I'll second that.
A motion and second, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. Plan Commission. We have 2 candidates that would want to serve. I will entertain a motion to appoint one or the other.
I'd make a motion to appoint Angie Holt to the position.
Do I have a second?
No, I won't second that.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned about doing this in something outside of an executive session if we get into a discussion on
Okay,
other than just a straight motion.
we can do that.
So on our last one, we didn't have a discussion when we removed a board member.
Well, we did on an executive session, we did.
Oh, did we?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
I will second that motion. All those in favor?
I have a question first. Does the commissioners follow the Robert's Rules of Order for their meeting?
I know how to.
I question whether or not the chair is allowed to second a motion.
Why wouldn't the chair be allowed after?
Can the chair second a motion?
Yes,
Is that in Robert's Rules of Order? Is that what you follow?
I do not know.
Okay, well, I think we should find out before
Have
we
you
go
ever
on.
seconded, have you ever seconded a motion?
No, as a
the council?
chairman? No, I have not. It always comes from the floor.
Jim?
I don't recall now whether it's covered. My general recollection as I'm sitting here now is that the chair can if, under certain circumstances, okay? And, but I don't know that, I can't tell you that for sure. And I wasn't prepared to discuss it today because it's been a long time, but
I've got a comment for, if we only have 2 members present, who seconds the motions?
It dies.
No, it doesn't.
I think it dies.
The chair seconds the motions. We only
I
have
think-
two
I
mem-
think it-
if we
I
only
think
have
it dies
two members
and-
present, the chair
No,
seconds the
I'm just
motion.
asking a question. What you do is up to you.
From what
But
I'm-
I do know that it's been brought up at the state level as the commissioners and the council need to establish what rules they follow when they conduct their meeting. And it needs to be in writing. The council doesn't have it either, Bill. So I'm not debating. I'm just saying that this is, we've always carried the Robert's Rules of Order, but do we actually follow them? I don't know, because we don't have it written down anywhere.
I don't think the commissioners have a choice. If we're one short on the board, we need a second. We need a second, or we might as well not have a meeting. If we can't second a motion, we're
Then
dead in
it
the
dies
water.
and you've come up with something else.
Well,
that
this is
somebody-
what we've
that-
done.
that
This
the
is what we've
members
always
will
done. That's
second.
what we're going to do today.
That's fine. I'm just asking a question. What rules do we follow?
I've just answered it.
From what I'm reading, he can, in my short Google non-attorney capacity. So, but I'm looking at the quick guide, and it says he can in a small group. So,
Well,
is this a small group? 3, I would think that we're,
it's a full group. And I think that exception is, and Jim, you're welcome to weigh in. I think that exception is in the event that there's only 2 members present, that the second member, being the president, would be able to second the motion. I'm not sure what Robert's Rules, the full Robert's Rules has to say about it when there's a full attendance.
We've always
I guess-
operated under the assumption that the chair could second. We've always done it.
there's no requirement of following Robert's Rules of Order either.
That's true, too.
This is true.
You know, it's just a matter of deciding, and I can't even remember if we had times when the chairman seconded a motion or not. I know that for the last several years, we've allowed that.
I think you've seconded one before.
He has.
Okay.
I have,
All right.
and there was no question about it. So we will continue on.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Okay.
I would, since we have a motion and a second, I guess I am concerned that this is being handled this way rather than discussed in executive session like we did the other appointments without the opportunity for any other back and forth discussion. I'm a little concerned about the idea or the motivation to replace a Plan Commission member who has been on the commission for some time and has not had any kind of issues or problems or complaints.
I'll
as a
have
member.
to, and there again,
We just did it to Kevin, though. We just removed him.
Well, and we had that discussion in executive session and laid out the reasons why. That hasn't happened in this case. I'm just saying I'm concerned about that situation and you know, I think there are some folks here, looks like on both sides of that issue. Yeah, be that as it may.
without going into detail, which we are not allowed to do, I will
correct.
have to counter your statement that there has not been any problems or issues. I will take exemption to that, and that being said, I will now call for a vote. So,
Well, I will say that I've, of course, sat on the Plan Commission. And as a commissioner, I have not had anyone approach me with any kind of issues or problems with Sarah. In fact, we've gotten a number of letters of support, and I'll leave it at that.
All those in favor of nominating Angela Holt to the Plan Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same.
Aye.
Motion carries. 2-1. Mayor, you are up. Up the mic, mic's on. Make sure the blue light's on, sign in, and what you got for us?
There's going to be labor.
Is that mic on? Is it blue?
It is now. It wasn't.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead.
So when they sold that little triangle piece, which adjoins the county's property with the pond, stayed in ownership of the previous owner, they've indicated to us that have agreed that, yeah, they would have also signed for that annexation. So when I say that, there's probably four different owners involved here. So that's all I need today is just that if you would sign this petition, we will put it in our file. Basically, we're gathering the petitions signed to put them in the file in the queue so that when we're ready, hopefully in January, it could even be February, the city will put those, file those with the Plan Commission and put the whole process in motion. We're just finalizing our fiscal plan that's needed, and we want to have that pretty well finalized before we file the petitions, because once the petitions are filed, there's a timeline starts, and we have 30 days to have that fiscal plan prepared, but it takes quite a bit to put one of those together, and so we're doing that in anticipation of the petition. So that's the reason for just putting these in queue. When we're ready in January, potentially February, we'll file them and start that process. So, and I might add, last time I was here, I talked about the desire for the city to own that parcel of land with that pond. I think it's 47 acres or something in that range. And I left here with the direction to, quote, make us a proposal. And we're working on that. I got to just tell you, it's not a priority, but we're working on, what does a proposal look like? So at some point, hopefully that might be in January, we'll come back to or again, February, come back to the commissioner and say, here's an idea, what do you think about this? And get a conversation going on that. So still in our desire to do that, but it's going to take us some time to put that plan together. So that's all I need today is just if you would be able to execute that document and send it back to us, or we'll take it with us, or whatever that looks like. We'll put it in a file and hold it until we have them all ready to go and file with our Plan Commission.
Has the city gotten an appraisal on that pond property?
We've
have.
looked into getting one. I don't know if we received it back yet or not, Bill. Yeah.
We've gotten ours.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of that or the amount.
No.
Was it 750?
Can't remember what the number was, but it was up there.
I think it was 750.
Yeah. We've requested one. Maybe it came in last week when I was gone, but yeah, we've also requested one. Okay, well then, I guess that's a place for us to be starting. If you've got one and we get one, we've got 2 appraisals, so, okay.
It was in that range, I remember.
Then the hard part is coming up with the money.
So, I'd like to hear your deal tue. We'd like to work with you if we
Yeah,
can in
exactly.
some capacity to make the county better for every city here, so.
Yeah.
Is this normal, what we're doing, this annexation, is this a normal procedure to annex this property in?
Yeah.
This is just the way it works, huh?
Yeah, and actually, I mean, this is kind of like, in my view, the first of a couple that's going to happen out there. I see in 2023, most likely we're going to do another annexation, but on the south side of the road and push to County Road 19. We're talking with developers about the land out there, and so when they're ready to move forward their plans, we'll move with that. And so, yeah, we're just going to keep pushing to the west to County Road 19.
Todd,
And we could go north too. I mean, if y'all wanted to throw in the rest of your property to the north of this,
I think we'll have-
hey, we'll go up to County Road 40. Yeah.
Todd,
Well, we're in that ETJ, I mean,
Yes.
that area, that's all in the ETJ, right?
Correct.
Well,
Yeah,
part of it
or
is.
most, yeah.
there are rules and regulations on what municipalities can do in annexing properties. A lot of it has to do with being contiguous with a certain percentage of other properties in the city, and I'm not aware of anything that would make this inappropriate.
Oh, that's fine. I assume you're on the up and up. I just wondered how it worked. I know at one time the state regulated how much a city could annex over a certain amount of period of time. There was a percentage.
Well, there's a contiguous requirement, and I don't quote me on the numbers, but whatever it is, we're like 4 times that amount
Okay.
that's required. But yeah. So sometimes that's why your annexation's in a stair-step process to get there where you need to.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I appreciate your consideration and getting that filed with us, and yeah.
One more thing, I don't know if you realize that the Ghost Cup drain is completed out there, and it has pulled the level of that pond down, so we're down below where it's not running across into the Ketchum. Yeah, so that's completed, it looks really good out there, and the price just went up, by the way.
Yeah, I suppose, of course it does. But, hey, since you mentioned that, I want to say thank you to the Drainage Board, whoever was all involved in that, because, it was a great joint project between the two. You were doing a project, we took advantage of that, the city did, and upsized things and put structures in for development purposes. And, yeah, we're pleased that got put in. Now we're working hard again, another joint project with the county on the east side of 69, as you know, the John Ketchum drain. And that's a big deal there. So, yeah, thank you for your cooperation on that. Yeah.
Right, and I remind everybody, commissioners did pay for that, since it was mostly county farm water going into that drain, the Gross Cup. The Ketchum, I don't know how that's going to look as far as, until we get a surveyor back into office. And I know that once they want it done as soon as ASAP or yesterday,
Yeah.
as far as a developer out there.
Yeah.
But,
Well, we understand how that, things happen, and but everybody has the same goal in mind and the same
Yeah.
vision. So we'll just work towards getting that accomplished. It needs to be done sooner than later, and with all the development that you're seeing and you're yet to see, it's very much needed.
yeah. And I think it's going to be right up the top priority list as far as getting that done. Mike, you want to address that at all?
Yeah, well, that's definitely a huge priority. Is Foresight doing? Where are we at with the engineering?
Yeah.
with Foresight, are they actually actively working on that now?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
They sure are, yeah. And we're pushing them hard to, this winter to get that design done so that, mid-year next year or maybe sooner, we could get that thing bid out and find out what that cost is. And as you know, the city's going to pick up the biggest share of that. And NDOT has a piece of it as well, but and maybe the private developers might be participating, but it's a huge price tag, yeah.
Once Pizza Hut gets moved into their new building, we'll be able to figure out exactly
Yeah,
what that piece going north is, and I think that'll help move things along too.
yeah,
But that is definitely a priority.
okay. Well, thank you for your time today, and
You're
have a
welcome.
good week.
Thank you.
Merry
too.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Right.
Merry Christmas.
Are you guys going to do a motion for Bill to sign this
I think we should.
petition?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're moving?
I so moved.
Thank you.
A motion is second. Discussion? Discussion from the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. I will sign.
Will I be able to take that with me, or you just want to make copies and I'll come back and get it later, or?
You want the original?
Yes.
We'll have Jim notarize it. Can you email me?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll just have it notarized, and then if you just email me a copy of it, I'll be fine.
okay.
She's a notary, but an elected official cannot serve, cannot be a notary on any of the county documents.
Good enough.
That's it. Thank you. All right. At the board appointments, miscellaneous topics.
The one that I had was the county farm drain with Ashelman.
Asherman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a gentleman in last week, wanted to put the drain across the county farm. Asherman, he has a farm to the east, on the north end of the county farm, northeast. He wanted to come across the road, across the county farm into the open ditch. We talked about a little bit at drainage board. He needs to get a permit, or not a permit, okay from the surveyor's office to go into the regulated drain. Other than that, superintendent to get across the highway. That was discussed back when Jackie and Don was in office, 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
They talked about it. They got Tom Keller, the farm renter out there, landlord out there too, not landlord, but renter, on board with that. He didn't see any problem with it. The only thing we can't find where they actually approved it. It went to motion and was approved for him to run that drain across there. So Susan went through the records, couldn't find anything that was actually finalized. So
Imagine that. Imagine that.
yeah, it just got shoved back in the file, forgotten, or what, I don't know. But I'm thinking we should just go ahead, if you're on board with approving him, okay, for him to do that.
He wants to put a private tile, right?
Yeah, be a private tile.
Well, we're going to maybe develop that land someday. I don't know if he's going to run it through the middle of the field, the side.
It's clear at the north end. It's up there where it comes, actually narrows.
Okay.
I think there's a couple 100 feet, or a couple 300 feet of
There's
drainage.
private tile everywhere in the
Oh,
county.
yeah, I know. I think
It'd probably be a plus for the farm.
sure.
It would give it another, because could be accessed.
But as long as he understands if we develop it, he might have to move his drain, right?
Possibly.
I really wouldn't want to give someone a permanent easement through land.
No, and this
No, it's not an
this
easement.
wouldn't be a legal easement.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It
So,
wouldn't.
well, I don't want to be challenged later that, hey, you knew I had that drain there, you can't build a building above it and
The
tear it
only
up.
drains that are restricted like that are county regulated.
Okay.
And that would not be
All right.
county regulated. So, yeah, it would be at his own peril, basically. But
Okay. I wouldn't have a problem
Seeing
with
that
that.
location clear to the north, I mean, this is way up there where you go across that bridge.
Okay,
And that open ditch runs across, that's the ditch he
Okay.
wants to tap into.
all right.
So I'd entertain a motion to allow Mr. Eshelman to put that drain across the north end of the county farm.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion is second. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Anything else?
Not for me.
Nothing. Jim? Mike?
I don't have anything. I suspect that there are some folks in the audience that might like to have a word or two, since we have some time, if you're
We have some.
if you're willing to let them speak.
Got some time?
Let's do that. We do have a little time. Didn't anticipate having any time this morning, but we've moved along
I'm
rather
really
swiftly.
surprised.
Anyone have any comments to make at this time?
Good morning, my name is Tom Miller, and I just want to say that you guys offered public discussion.
Sorry.
I get to do that every time, I guess.
Sorry.
Good morning, my name's Tom Miller, farmer from north of Waterloo, and I just noticed, and this is my first time I've been to one of your meetings for a long time, but every other thing that you guys discussed, there was public discussion allowed before you had a vote, and on Sarah and the other candidate, there was no public discussion allowed before you guys had that vote, and I feel like maybe not for that, but moving forward, you should offer public discussion, or maybe even open it up, which it's too late now. You guys voted. But, we pay a lot of taxes out in the country. I know that some of us don't matter, and that's not the point. But we pay a lot of taxes, and maybe our voices should be heard. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I'd like to answer some, best I can, Tom. We've never practiced that public discussions since I've been here on appointments. It's a duty of the commissioners to do that. And, it's not like it's willy-nilly, we just go out and find somebody.
I understand. I don't want your job.
Well, there was reasons, there was a change there, and so be it.
But you can't discuss those.
It could be allowed, but I don't think we're going to make it a policy that we allow it.
I mean, you guys are voted in.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want your job.
Okay.
Making my point. Okay.
Anything else? Anyone? Okay. Mary? Okay. Okay, we got a little time. Well, we still got a little bit of time to anticipate. Dead space this morning.
Are we waiting for Bob? Is that what?
Right.
Eating outside, so.
Okay.
I guess I'll talk a little bit. I've been talking, solar, of course, has our attention big time. again, talked to a very large farmer at church Sunday, and he's upset with our overlay along with our zoning. It's a very large farmer in DeKalb County, pays a lot of tax. Should be coming through, not coming through. Anyway, he thinks that we ought to allow solar according to industrial standards and convert. He said, hey, I have no interest in selling or leasing my farm, but anyone that does ought to do it under industrial pretense. In other words, whatever, that's true property rights, because I've received a lot of property rights advocates, especially, of course, they're pro-solar, which, okay, that's fine. But true property rights go with the designation of what your property zone is zoned at. Now, our overlay, of course, allows that operation. I'm just wondering if it was the correct thing to do from a standpoint of property rights, as addressing property rights. Because if you do an overlay for someone to do solar on ag ground, what if someone wants an overlay to do pump oil out of the ground? They find oil on their property, it's a, or whatever it might be. So I just would, I think that should be part of the discussion going forward. What defines property rights? And to me, it's the zoning, because you can't do anything outside your zoning legally.
No, that's true. The farmer can sell whoever he wants to.
No, he can sell, that's what I'm saying.
It's the purchaser that normally would do the rezoning anyway.
Right, or if he wanted to lease it, he could ask to have it converted to industrial and lease it out as industrial land. But I just again, addressing property rights, your property rights go with your zoning. You can't have a business run in residential, and you can't stick residential in the middle of industrial. Same with ag. Ag is defined, the property rights are defined in the ag zoning.
Except under that pretense, you don't gain anything. You just don't gain anything. In fact, what you do is kind of, everybody kind of loses on that situation, because if you put solar, if you make all of that land be rezoned as industrial and just throw the ordinance out as you suggested, then the setbacks are 30 feet from the property line.
That's right.
And there's no screening, there's no anything else involved in that.
Yep, I agree with that.
And you end up with, if again, using your premise that solar isn't a long-term solution for things, so at the end of the leases, all of that solar panels are pulled out and recycled or whatever, you've got 1,800 acres or 3,000 acres zoned industrial that is basically useless.
Well, you can put it back to ag. You can rezone it back to ag.
So what have you gained? Nothing.
Because, well, what you've gained
Except
is...
a lot of hassle and red tape.
Well, what you've gained is the fact that the land is being used for its designated zoning, which the people can fight and say, we don't, they can negotiate on the zoning at that point.
Wow.
And how, like SDI didn't have to put them berms up. They didn't have to put that fence up. That was a negotiation between them and the neighbors to try to work it out in the free market. And I would rather see that than a broad overlay, but that's just my opinion.
And the other thing that you do is, there's been a lot of discussion about property values. You just ask any appraiser what happens to property values when you're surrounded by I-3 zoning.
I'd argue the same
and
thing,
you're in
surrounded
R1.
with windmills and solar panels. You couldn't give me a property that was surrounded by those either, but I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
But I get the
Well,
point.
what I'm saying is you don't gain anything.
Right, I just think the simpler we make government, the same people that are telling me they want less government want us to make more exceptions and carve-outs and special interests. And I think the simplicity of zoning, the way it was, makes sense to me. And I'm still learning. I really am, but
Well, I really hope you'll take a little deeper dive into that, because there are a lot of reasons why that's not the best approach here, I think.
Yeah. Well, another term was talked about when we approve something. We have to have the final determination if this is the best use of the land. And fertile farm ground to me in this area we're blessed with, us in Ohio. You know, you want to see bad farmland, go to western Nebraska or something, you know, or go out in the desert. And I guess the best use of the land is there's other alternative energies that the government has pushed, mainly ethanol and diesel fuel. So we're going to take land out of farmers or that's able to produce true renewable energy. Guys, we're sending our coal to China. They're burning it in the most unclean way possible to send us back their poisonous panels that we then put on top of our farm ground so we can't grow our renewable fuels. And I'm just I look at this whole thing and go, so we take money from here, give money over here, take this product and become the slave to the Chinese government before it's over with. So I just think it's, you know, you got to look at the other equation when we talk about renewable fuels, renewable energy. We're making a lot of renewable fuel and energy right here in DeKalb County with corn and beans, and that goes away. And I just think that would be a travesty to see that happen.
But what you have to understand is there would be no proposed solar projects in DeKalb County if there weren't people who wanted to sell their land.
I agree, and I think they should be able to. And I think they should be able to sell their land. A farmer's true rights is to be able to sell that land to whoever he wants, and if it can be zoned legally within the proper zoning, I think it should be allowed. And that's true property rights, in my opinion. So I just want to bring it up for discussion.
And you did say one thing that is a key phrase, and that was going forward. Going forward is one thing, moving the goalpost in the middle, or is another.
That'd be a good discussion too. Yeah, I agree. There's some discussion there. Yeah.
Lot to be debated, and the 28th, we will focus pretty much entirely on this debate.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I think, Jim, you still have your conference call this afternoon concerning the moratorium. 2 o'clock. Can that be taken here in the courthouse? Can you take that call here?
Yeah, he's going to call my cell phone.
Okay, good to know. In case we don't get out of here. Susan might hold us captive.
Oh, Lord, I hope we're out of here by then. Jeez.
Anyway, okay. I see
Never know.
Bob's
I didn't
here
bring my sleeping bag.
and Mary is here, so what you got for us today?
Good morning, Mary Deal,
Morning, Mary.
51, it sounds like it. Yes. All right, Mary Deal, 5113 County Road 54, Auburn, Indiana. Bob and I are here today just to kind of bring you up to speed on the smaller projects we have going on and propose a new project we'd like to dive into. The first thing we want to update you on are the security cameras. Things have been going very well with that. With the increased knowledge that they're there, we've seen a decrease in the mischievous activity, which is great. We have alerts that are sent to our phone or computer. Some of the cons with this, we did not realize that the sheriff's department, they have to refresh that every 2 minutes. It's not a continuous thing. So what that leaves is, Bob is our nightly watch guy. He reviews the video pretty much every evening, or if we get a report that something is going on down there. So it's more of a reactive instead of a proactive scenario. As I've mentioned before, I'm not a tech person, so I don't know what the solution is to that, so they could actually be watching it. So that was our expectation. So no.
Those were solar and battery powered, weren't they? Or they weren't hardwired with electricity.
Some of those are.
They are.
The only reason I say that, a lot of times when they run non-hardwired ones, you don't have the option for it to be
Okay.
batteries.
Yeah.
Instead of motion.
Yeah. Right. I'm pretty sure they're linked.
Them are hardwired.
For power to
Yes,
the
they
panels.
are.
Okay, they are.
It's wired to 110. It's got a little air card that's up in the box with the router.
Oh, they're on an air card.
Yeah, so that's why there's a little bit of lag with the Wi-Fi, because there's not no good Wi-Fi signal out there. So at times that signal is a little bit weak, and that is why. Jack has worked on that in the past. But I was not aware of the refresh that they're explaining.
Is that maybe?
Yeah, Jack would probably be the best one to answer those.
I'd like to know that. 'Cause I'd like to
Yeah.
see it continuous unless
Right.
overstep our ban.
All right, okay, so, yeah, let's include Jack. No, let's include Jack in that, so. All right, I have a little packet to hand out. The next, the native plants that were approved. On the top sheet, Mr. Hartman, there's the design that you had asked for. I didn't get it till after the approval, so that would be on the south side, the design for that. We completed phase 1 on October 22nd. We planted most of the plants. We prepped the ground. Bill Ward from the Soil and Water, he installed rocks to prevent erosion from occurring. I don't know, Ben's probably seen all that out there maybe, or some of his guys. Phase 2 will take place in the spring, but that's been a very seamless project and we're looking forward to that. We were approved for a 75% cost share up to $2,500 for that project, so very little will come out of our pot on that one. So the 150th celebration is coming up in 2023, which is huge. We tentatively have that planned for September 16th from 10 to 4 p.m. that day. There may be a request to close the bridge on Sunday, the 17th, for a joint church service to conclude the celebration. They've done that once before. I was not involved in that. But as things progress with that, we'll keep you abreast of that. As you know, our historical sign was stolen during the construction. That is still in production. So my hope is that we can coincide the installation really close to the 150th and make that part of the ceremony to unveil that. And it's going to be double-sided, so we may be looking at a different location for it. The original one was only one-sided. It could probably still go on the side it was on and people could see both sides, but until it gets here in discussion, we'll figure that out.
All right.
All right. And our proposed project is a trail system, and I sent Susan the map, and I don't know if she gave it to you, but it's in is in the packet I provided.
I'd seen it.
Okay. We met with GIS prior to meeting with GIS to make that map. We met with Weston Zuberg. He is the superintendent for the Indiana Department of Natural Resources Division of Fish and Wildlife. He is in charge of the boat launch there. He's a supervisor for the whole northern part of Indiana. Plus, we met with his supervisor, Robert Bell. He's the Northeast Public Land Supervisor. We met with him about a year ago on the 3rd of December to discuss including their property in that loop. And if you're unaware, the property on the north side of Mill Street is state property. Yep, that's state property. So we met with them. At the direction of Robert Bell, Weston created a contract for our use with the Fish and Game, and I believe I included that in the packet as well. It's a collective contract between us and them, and we are hoping to create the same agreement with you to utilize the property between the two bridges to complete the loop. Yes.
Is that boat ramp functional?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
People park cars there? Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's very active there.
Trading through there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And one of the benefits to having the security camera, we get a count on that camera, and we have about 14,000 incidences, hits a month. Our estimate is around 175 to 200,000 people visit the bridge, the river, that area a year. It is, I don't think people realize what an attraction it is. So that the numbers are already there, activities already occurring there. We're just wanting to enhance everybody's experience when they visit the bridge. The Lions Club has the Pavilion Park to the east of that, and they have a contract or agreement with the commissioners to lease that yearly, and that's very well maintained. It would be a nature trail. It would be easily, no asphalt, nothing like that. Just if you've been to one of the Acres Land Trust properties, very similar to that, because it is in a floodplain, of course, and we do get water there.
It'll be basically a compacted gravel trail, or will it be just dirt?
I think we'll be guided by what the Fish and Game wants through their property, but the soil is sandy, and except in flood time, I think just a natural path will probably be better.
Mm-hmm.
We thought about the use of mulch, but I think we'll be guided by ideas from Fish and Game for what they do in other.
Yeah.
Floods with moving water.
Mulch especially would not stabilize.
There's already a trail, pretty much, just a trail that's been there forever through the Fish and Game. People are down in between the bridges on the county property, walking already. We did have all that vehicle traffic down there, but that has come to a stop, which is what we wanted. There should be no vehicles down and driving down the embankment.
I seem to remember some discussion about there at the approach to the bridge where it crosses over Mill Street. Was there going to be steps in there?
We had discussed at one time, steps coming down from
Because there's quite an
that deck
incline.
on the west side so people could access it. That would be down the road if this would go well. I mean, I wouldn't dive right into that.
Okay.
All the land north of
Yes.
Ours, we own south. Yeah. With the left on of course, on your.
Great. Yeah.
What was you planning on along Mill Street here? I see your line goes up towards Front Street for a walk. I'm not sure, without pulling that up, what our road right-of-way is through here.
Right.
But as far as a walk, what was you visioning through there?
Yes, we're anticipating the possibility of probably a hard surface walk in that part, where it picks up from Front Street and follows around on the riverside of the curve. I think one of our concerns is that people are already walking in the road right-of-way, lots of them. And providing a safe path around the two curves until they get back to the straightaway, I don't think there's so much concern about people walking where people can be seen, but around the curves, I think, is a safe path.
That'd be something maybe I'd encourage the commissioners to look into. You know, we'd have to look at our road right-of-way. There's no existing sidewalk there now, but Spencerville is unincorporated. That is ours. We do have sidewalks in there, and it is our obligation to work towards our ADA transition plan. You know, this isn't replacing, but it would be adding to, and we can make it ADA compliancy from Front Street down to the public access point. You know, we could look into that. There is a little bit of an issue along Mill Street there with a quick drop off on that side.
Yeah.
We would have to look into that. Maybe we'll have to do some investigating out there, but that may be something that the county could look in if you guys are willing to on that portion.
I think that's a good idea.
Would we have to have some kind of a barrier in that area where it drops off if it's going to be ADA compliant?
I don't know if we'd have to have a barrier on that side, maybe just we might want a split rail fence or something on that back side, depending on how far we are. It's been a while since I've been out there, really looked at it.
I think there are some places where some type of guardrail or barrier might be warranted. And then there's also the thinking that there could be some kind of observation point that overlooks the dam on the first curve.
Oh,
And that definitely would require some kind of barrier. It's quite a
platform,
drop off.
yeah,
There was a mill.
yeah.
Because with the limited footage we have there, we might be even looking at a curb-faced sidewalk along there, keeping it right parallel to the street with a curb. So it'd be something worth looking into if you guys was interested in going that route and helping with it. Because there is a lot of foot traffic, especially through the summer. I see people walk down to the bridge. Ideally, it would be nice to have a sidewalk all the way down to the bridge, but there's drops off on both sides pretty extensively once you get
Yeah.
closer down there.
Right, right. I think it's something, what do you guys think? We could participate in ADA? And
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I like this idea.
Okay.
We've
And our
got
hope
some
was,
ADA.
oh, sorry, Mike.
We've got some ADA budget
Yeah, we have
funds
some,
already set aside too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our hope is to, every May, we have a big cleanup. We coordinate with the Lions Club and to maybe put a preliminary, start the clearing out of that area. I mean, we could consider the sidewalk situation like a phase 2. If we could get started on that main loop, that'd be great. The Indiana, the Fish and Game Wildlife, they do not want us doing any work between October and April because of the Indiana endangered bats.
Yep.
So, which mostly live in caves, so there may be some down by the bridge, I don't know, so we'll see. But, so maybe an agreement between us and you, similar to what the Fish and Game have, they have the right to revoke it at any time, and then we would have 30 days to remove any signage and that. Of course, we would provide the signage for the trail, no motorized vehicles walking and that. Our hope is to, if you're not really familiar with the area, on the one end is the mill race. And our hope is to put some signage up there, some heritage preservation signage to, note that location and that. So I think bicycles could probably, yep. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. It's not hilly. It's pretty. No. So.
And then your guys' park or covered bridge committee would be the one maintaining this
Yes.
down below?
Yep. And our volunteers that easily come out.
Bad thing is, unfortunately, certain times, that's gonna be a lot of work.
Uh-huh.
Because the river comes up and
Yep.
don't leave a mess.
After every high water, there's
Nope, you're right.
okay.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No. Would there be a time that I could follow up and maybe see if you have something written up for us, or work with somebody to write up the agreement between the county and the association, or?
We-
We have, maybe a good thing
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
and we'll just give you his number.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Andrew Cruz is coming on as our attorney first of the year.
Okay.
So that'll be a good project for him to start in
Right. Okay.
on.
Great.
If you look at the Fish and Game agreement, you'll see that they wrote it, and they wrote it to their benefit in terms of they have the final say. And, if they don't like it, why, they can say, go away. And I assume the county will probably do something. So we look at this as a cooperative event, all three parties working together.
All right.
Congratulations on your new gig, by the way.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
New
Mary, I got one
historian.
other thing for you
Okay.
too. You mentioned September 16th this next year. Can you call our office and get reserved for that?
Okay. Like I said, it was tentative, but I'm hoping, somebody had mentioned that's Johnny Apple's weekend too. I don't know how much that would really impact us. September's pretty full because we want to avoid the ACD museum or ACD festival, things like that. But I can call within the week.
Just let us know before you pin down a date, because we
Okay.
still do rent that bridge.
Okay.
And so if there's somebody's already got it rented, I don't want
Okay.
to have we had a conflict one time. and
Okay, yeah, I
people-
wasn't thinking about that. People
Yeah.
contact me, but I always,
Yeah, so make sure they check with us. We got a
Okay.
calendar down there and we can let
Okay.
you know if it's taken or not.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, moving forward.
I just thought of something.
What you got, Susan?
You guys probably want to do a motion on the 220 building for those employees, so it's black and white.
Oh, yeah.
Post out taking
Second.
Well, for the record, we had to shut that building down for sanitary reasons, basically. And they toughed it out on Thursday, walked to the courthouse and over to the jail to use those restrooms. And we just felt like Friday was going to be a complete shutdown of the system. And so we let them go home and
Yeah, so I drove by and looked at the dig out where they dug. Was that clean out already there, or was that a
No.
new clean out?
that's,
So they put a new,
That's all new.
yeah,
that's all new. Okay,
That's
so
all
that
new.
was the problem, that area. I was thinking there'd be crushed tiles.
about 10
It was like
feet of pipe
paper mache
replaced.
pipe or something weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be cast iron, but it was some kind of goofy
Yeah,
composite pipe.
Roseburg, something like that.
Orange something. Anyway, it was
It-
weird.
Okay, well, anyway, so I made motion, Mike second.
I did.
A motion second, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same, motion carries. We pay those folks out of the, I won't have to use our PTO for something that was
Yeah.
Thank you.
beyond their control.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't expect them to do that.
Totally understand.
Okay.
Thank you, Susan, for bringing that up. Anything else? We've got about 10 minutes.
Ben, we upset you? Oh, okay, you got distance away. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see, what else? What else?
Any other discussion from the public? Okay. Let's take an early break.
Okay.
We're up to the pledge time anyway. Let's take an early break.
Okay.
And,
No argument here.
Okay, reminder, turn your
yep. Oh, yeah, but,
Asking the boss.
yeah, you better turn it on. Because as soon as you start to talk, you forget it. I do anyway, I would anyway.
I always forget to turn mine back on, so I'm turning it on.
You're on now, good deal.
Here, Mike, I'm turning you on.
Okay, we are back on the clock, back in session. Ben, where'd Ben go?
Where's Ben? I think Rick went to get him. Yes, we're waiting for you.
You're so important, nobody would start again in the meeting without you in here.
Okay, Ben, what you got? You got some bids, I understand.
Yeah, well, we got bid opening today. That's not till 10:30. We probably ought to wait till that time.
Right, right.
Other than that, I really don't have much for you guys. I got a little update on that oversized load that's been requiring to go through the county. Of course, I was out last week, so I did not email back and forth real good with them, but they've got a denial from NDOT, which is aggravating, on using State Road 1 or a lot of the state roads because of the height and the width of this. The reason they can't go US 6 is because of our overpass there on 61, the bridge is not tall enough. We've ran into this problem a couple times. Hindsight's 2020, I don't know why that bridge wasn't elevated a little bit more.
How tall is that bridge, Ben, do you know?
16.4, I think.
16.4 is not high enough?
There's 17.6 on this load.
Well, they're not going down 69 then either. Some of them bridges are what, 15 foot, 14 something?
I'm not sure what they are.
I would say the 15 range, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But they don't, that's a high-speed road, they don't allow.
I know, but that's interesting, okay. Wow.
So I emailed him back this morning and let him know it's kind of discouraging that the state dictates them. The state roads are by far safer than any rural county road with a load that high, size, width, weight. I'm not sure why the state, you see them go down 6 with these huge loads with a police escort, why they can't have a police escort on 1 or something. So I emailed him a couple other possible routes, 20 to 49, and I told him I just don't really feel that I have a safe, good route on a county road for that size of load. I mean, could it go down it? Yes, probably, but I don't think it's fair to the county or the residents or the people traveling that corridor. The destination is not out in the rural county anywhere there. You know, they're just using this as a bypass. So at this point, I haven't permitted him. I'm hoping they can find another route, because I just don't feel good about it.
And why don't you feel good about that route again? What's the main reason?
Well, just because the height of it and the width of it and the size of it. I mean, our county roads are like this.
Okay.
So the only thing we could do is require them to have a police escort go up ahead and make sure traffic stops, you know, because you know how it is. People drive 60, 70 mile an hour on a lot of our county roads. Believe it or not, they do.
That never happens.
And if they got that size load coming and pop over a hill, there's no recovery. You know, then you got phone lines, power lines, which they ought to be prepared for, tree limbs. And then it's 149,000 pounds, 148,000 pounds.
A lot of axles, I assume.
Yeah, I don't remember what was on it. 8 axles, I think.
And no bridges, right? So,
On 16 no. But the thing is, he wanted to take 16 from 427 to 1, then he's back on 1 going up to 6. So, well, there's a restriction on 1, where's the restriction added? I'm guessing it's probably up by Hamilton through the S-curves. I'm guessing.
Oh, really?
But there again, S-curves with a little bit of police escort, that's still a way better road than our county roads are. So I want to work with people and try to help everybody get to their destination and get a job done. I just don't think it's right of the state to be able to have a way better road, sight distance and everything to
they
reject that.
rejected it, right?
And then force it onto the counties or locals that
maybe the solution then, doing what Ben said, and just requiring, if it's a safety, mostly concern safety, obviously the weight's an issue, but
Right.
if it's mostly a safety concern due to the width and the height, have police escort front and rear. Say you must have front and rear escort from the police.
And anything that is height, he'll be required to trim and clean up or move wires. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't do any of that.
Yeah, never thought about that. There's probably some wires that are gonna have to be pulled down.
Being 17 foot, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's way up
Yeah,
there.
or walk them over,
Wow.
you know. You
Okay.
can't walk over light lines, not the hot side.
No.
I don't think.
You can try it.
Yeah, you can try it. Wow. So what's their alternative? I mean,
I don't know if they got one. I haven't really got to speak with them much. I emailed
can
them
they
back this morning.
reapply or to the state if we turn them down?
I don't know. I haven't, never been on that side of it.
Where's the load at as we speak? Is it sitting somewhere? Don't know.
The guy who I talked to him is very hard to understand on the phone. It's Omar or something or other, his name. I sent an email this morning with a couple suggested routes, and I know I didn't feel I'd have a safe, good route for them. They was inquiring about 47. I get a lot of inquiries about 47.6 up to 40. There's no way they can go over that.
Really?
Not in a high-rise railroad crossing, no way.
Oh, would they hang up on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's, and getting across and pulling out on sixes.
Right.
It's just
Well, they would
really
be going
close.
south.
You're going south, yeah, okay.
But, any other county road I have, the detour around, we've got bridges on. To get around, so the main objective is to get around 61 at 6. They can't get under. So, there's just no really good route, and I don't like detouring that stuff down gravel roads. Not that it's gonna hurt the road, it's just, I don't think it's a good practice to start personally, but
Well, it sounds like they really need to take the state road and with an escort if necessary. And how would it,
State has said no, right?
state has restrictions.
restriction?
The restrictions for that size load basically don't permit it. So I don't know if we can, I think we can just flat deny them. I've never gotten into a spot where they haven't found an alternative.
Well, the state, you say restricts it, but what about that big thing that got shipped from Texas last year that they, I don't know, wasn't a big silo or something that?
Oh, yeah, where they had to lift the street lights and
Yeah,
power lines.
well, didn't the state allow them to go on roads with that? What's the difference?
And an escort and everything. I don't know. I really don't know. guys.
Escort,
Okay, so have them get the escort and run the state road.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's,
That'd make more sense to me. Those roads are better equipped than ours.
By far, yes. For that size of load, yes, it's,
run that by them.
I'd like to know why the state rejected it, and if they did, what,
I asked that.
yeah, and what'd they say?
I hadn't gotten a response back.
Yeah.
I think we need that
I don't
response.
think they want to do the escort. They want to save that money, not do the escort, take the state road. Instead, just take the county road and save the escort
I
expense.
see, yeah.
That'd be my guess.
I think we need to know why it was rejected by the state, and
Yeah,
if
I'm
they can
curious too, so
comply
I
with
asked
the
them that.
state, they need to do the state.
That was kind of my email. I said, I get very frustrated with this. I said, the state has by far better roads than what we have in rural county, but yet they can reject it and want to push you off on our roads. I said, their roads are by far safer
Oh,
for this than what any county road is.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
They're wider and better alternative.
Yeah. That's where we're at. Let's hold fast.
So, but that's all I got for you guys today are them bids.
Well, we got 5 minutes. Anything for Ben? Todd, Mike, Susan,
Nope.
Jim?
Calling for the chance of that nasty weather this weekend
Oh, really? Actual accumulation?
and high winds and
Really? What kind of accumulation, do you know?
depends on who you listen to. Anywhere from inch to 8 inches.
Really?
Out and 40, 50 mile an hour winds and
Are you ready for it?
oh yeah, I don't want to be, but I am. That and then get cold.
We're talking Christmas Eve, possibly, right?
Starting
Really?
Friday, Thursday, Friday. The thing is, we get that, even if you get an inch of snow, we get wind all weekend. It'll be,
You'll be out there.
make a mess all weekend. We'll deputize Miss Susan to come help us.
I'd like to watch it.
Put me in one of those big trucks.
Hook you right
You
up.
won't have any mailboxes left or?
Yeah.
It'll be all right, just so you answer the phone calls. It'll be all
Oh,
right.
I'll answer a phone call.
Will you?
So in my newly elected officials training, they stated that. So you're going to happily open these like this
Okay,
so that it matches my list.
okay.
Thank you.
Everyone should make the auditor happy.
Because we pay ya.
Uh-huh.
That's all right.
Thinking, by the way, our trucks are too plain. That
Yeah.
yellow, I love the flying pig. I want the flying pig on the doors of our trucks.
Do you?
You think you could do that as a,
You know, the lady we got that does
Pick a
our,
magnet.
I'm serious. I think it'd look
the
cool.
lady that we got that does our decals now, she's very creative. She'd probably be tickled to do
I
something.
would love to
unique
have a
like that.
flying pig on the side of our trucks. I think that would just be cool. I'm
I've
serious.
threatened some of the guys that's, signed their trucks have got some nicknames. I've threatened to put their nicknames
Oh,
above
yeah.
the door handles, but
Government's too serious. We got to lighten it up a little bit, and say, did you see DeKalb County's trucks?
yeah. Yeah, we could.
I just think it's be different.
The flying pig has been quite the discussion point. It's been on every parade it's been in.
Yeah.
So when pigs fly, they say,
Yeah.
guess we made that happen.
Yes, we're still moving ahead with the highway. We gotta, get some out around the first year, get a meeting scheduled with the bot
Yeah.
that advertise 7 days ahead. Seems like. So,
Yeah, we need to have some clarification on exactly what those resolutions are committing us to yet, too, because council hasn't approved any financing yet, so.
can we do our thing before they do theirs?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I'm sure we probably can, and I just wonder if it's wise to.
There was some discussion at the last council meeting about the funding and the interest. I'm still not sure I'm clear on that and what that was going to involve. Are we talking about expense of the administrative expense, or are we talking about actual interest expense?
Yeah, they're just talking about the cost of financing, whether it's a bond or whether it's a loan situation or whether it's a lease purchase. There's a finance cost involved, and that just has to fit under that $10 million cap, is all. But the cap doesn't include the money we'd already spent for the property or for Elevado.
That does not include that.
Or any of those other incidental things.
That's a
So-
couple $1 million, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know that you're going to be able to do, there was a mention of possible public hearing on the 28th for that, but you're not going to make those.
No.
No, and
It would have to be
I
advertised
told-
today.
I told Greg, March, we're not ready for that yet.
Okay.
Well, Bill did too.
Yeah.
That meeting's already got plenty of activity, so,
Right.
Good thing to start the new year with.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that figured out. We get reorganized after the first year and put a plan in place. Got some other issues we need to kind of address and go forward.
25 seconds.
Countdown to missile launch. We've got a lot of bids.
It looks like there's quite a few of them there.
Yes.
Normally is.
Because you're such a popular guy, everybody wants to work with you.
Yeah, I suppose.
For the information to the audience, these bids are for diesel fuel and several things involved with highway operation. We lock in bids or consider bids at first year, and some things we lock in, some things we don't. But anyway, that's what this is about this morning.
Well, it being 10:30.
Yep.
I'll start to open our annual operational bids. I'm going to open these, so if anybody has a question, I'll read who it's from, what item they bid on. There's several in each item, like stone, so there's item number 4. There'll be several number of items under that list for stone, different materials. If anyone has a particular question on a bid price, let me know and I'll do that. Because if I read each one, we'll be in here for quite a while. So with that, I'll get started. First one I have, Susan, is Stone Street Quarries. Bid for item number 4. And item number 4 is aggregate gravel.
You gonna give me amounts or not?
What you want?
Are you gonna give me the amount or not?
It's all different. Each line item's different.
Oh, okay.
So each stone, so for instance, on here, we got number 8 gravel, we got number 9 gravel, number 11 gravel, number 23 gravel. Then whether it's picked up or whether it's delivered,
So there's not a total.
no, there's not.
Okay.
The ones that have a total amount, I will give you those. So, but
Okay.
is what I will do. I'll go through these. We'll take the bids under advisement. They'll be brought back in 2 weeks, and I'll have an itemized proposal I'll give.
Okay.
I have one here from Accurate Striping.
What line item is this one, Ben?
Be item number 9 for pavement markings. Same way with that one, it's got all of our solid line, white line, skip, railroad crossing, turn bars, stop bars. Having a bid from Wayne Asphalt, item number 6. And that's item number 6 is bituminous mixture, Susan. One from Brooks Construction for item number 6. Bituminous mixture again. Another one from Brooks Construction, item number 8, hourly rates. I have another one from Brooks Construction, item number 3, aggregate limestone. Man. I have one from Clifford Aggregate. Item number 4, aggregate gravel. Another one from Clifford Aggregate, item number 3, aggregate limestone. Excuse me. Another one from Clifford Aggregate, item number 8, hourly rates.
Ben, when you say hourly rates or define it as hourly rates, what does that
Hourly
pertain to?
rates, it depends, they can bid on several different things. They can bid for equipment rental, triaxle dump truck, loader. Some of it will come hourly rates as far as employees hiring. It just depends on what all they bid on. So that's what hourly rates is for.
Okay, I just wanted the public kind of have an idea
Yep.
of what we're talking
Like on
about.
Clifford's here, they did equipment rental for a 6-yard payloader, $195 an hour. Equipment rental for a triaxle dump truck, $118 an hour. Equipment rental for a quad axle dump truck, $123 an hour. Equipment rental on a semi dump truck lowboy, $130 an hour. What they
Okay,
bid on. So if we want to contract someone to help haul material to us or move a piece of equipment, we
Yeah.
have that option.
yeah. And we do that sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. American Timber Bridge, item number 1. And this is for our lumber, for our wooden structures for repair. Take a volunteer to come down and help put all these together. Gives the ladies something to do for a while. One from Pulver and Sons, item number 6. That's bituminous mixture. Then the bituminous is our asphalt material products, so full patch, hot packs, like that, so.
Is that also for a chip and seal?
Bituminous mixture, yes, it will be.
Chip and seal used for that.
Wolf Lake gravel, item number 4.
Are they out of the Wolf Lake area?
They're out of Albion.
Okay.
819 North Orange Street, Albion.
Albion, okay.
I think the pits over by Wolf Lake.
Yes, Wolf Lake would be north of there, or south of there, wouldn't it?
South
Yeah,
and west a bit.
Yeah, south and west, yeah.
Yeah, the pit's at 3225 West Wolf Lake Road.
Okay.
They've been on aggregate gravel. I'm kind of surprised.
I think
Lot
they
of
did last year
bids.
too.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
A lot of bids for gravel.
Yes.
One from API Construction. Item number 6, bituminous mixture. Daily aggregates. Item number 3, limestone. Stafford gravel. Gravel. Great Lakes chloride, item number 7, liquid calcium chloride.
Is that a per gallon bid?
Always is. It's, depends on what solution we go with. 38% is $1.20, 42% is $1.27.
Why would you use different percentages?
Got more calcium in it, it's supposed to, it may keep the dust down a little bit longer. It's got less water in it, more calcium in it.
Do you remember what we paid this year?
We spray 38%. We always have.
What was the price, June? By chance, just curious.
I got it. I brought it with me.
Did you? Good deal.
No, I thought I did. $38% last year was $1.08. 42% was $1.14, or this year, I should say.
About 20 cents more.
Pearston Trucking, item 5, like liquid bituminous. They bid on liquid bituminous. This has got our ceiling asphalts in it. BM 90Ps, $4 a gallon. Ceiling asphalt's $3.41. Two that we ran. BM 90 we're getting away from. Leave this out. Probably one of you want to see this, I suppose. And that changes. That price will change several times between now and chip seal season, typically. Three Rivers Barricade, item number 9, pavement markings. Not drainage and excavating, item number 8, hourly rates. Fixing sand and gravel, item number 3. Aggregate limestone. Fixing sand and gravel, item number 4. aggregate gravel. Sand and gravel, item number 8. Hourly rate. Yard payloaders, $275 an hour. Yard payloaders, $220. Axle dump truck, $175.
I believe it is expensive to run that type of
It is.
equipment.
Hopefully, we never need it.
Expensive equipment.
We bid them because, man, we get another blizzard or something. We
Oh, yeah.
contract with a lot of the area gravel pits.
Yeah.
Pavement Solutions, item number 10. That's for micro seal. A double micro seal this year is $5.10 a square yard. Singles $3.75. 1.25 before for a double.
Really? Roughly.
Payment Solutions, item number 8, hourly rates. Another one from Payment Solutions, item number 5, liquid bituminous. Staying awake?
Losing a couple.
No thanks to you.
Got a real adrenaline rush going.
I know it.
Yeah. Bituminous. Go bituminous.
Heber Brothers, item number 8. They're out of Albion. Know him.
8, is that
Hourly rates.
hourly rates? That include their labor also, not just,
Looks like some of them do some, no, mostly that price does include it. Or they'll even include, like this one here's got just a general labor of $50 an hour. So if they gotta send more than just an operator. Yeah, he bid a lot of equipment. CM Fritsch Enterprise, item number 3. In Ohio. CM Fritsch Enterprise, item number 8. Hourly rates. Rich Excavating, item number 8. Collins up there. Series Solutions. Item number 2, diesel fuel.
$1.50 a gallon.
Good to me. He was out there in the hallway and I just tried to get him to extend the contract from last year.
Yeah, let's just extend the original.
He didn't want to do that.
I'm more than willing to do it. Refinery.
All right, diesel fuel, Series Solutions, number 2, diesel fuel. I'll give you the total price with the tax. 3.518. Number
Cheaper than the $5 I see at the truck stops, huh?
right now with K1, it would be 3.633 for winter. Open market price today, 3.488. With K1, 3.603. So the base price of the diesel right now is $2.95.8. We pay 56 cents tax. So the total price is 3.518 for diesel fuel.
What would you do with K1?
You put that in there for winter blend.
Keep it from
Diesel
gelling.
kerosene.
Yeah, so you mix it?
We haven't, but I still bid it because if we ever get in a position where we run out of our additive, or if it does get bitter cold, it's bid. Since we've been using our additive, I've never had to add K1.
Doesn't Prist do the same thing, or is Prist more of an anti-biological? Heard of Prist?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. They put it in jet fuel to keep it from, at cold temperatures to keep it from freezing. So I'm wondering, but you just blend K1 with it to a certain amount and that gets you, okay. Jet fuel, that's all it is, yeah. Okay, cool.
Turns to jello otherwise.
Yeah.
Just clog the filters
JP4,
up.
K1, all the same.
Winter, yes?
So you told me the diesel with everything, 3.518. What would
Right.
the number be comparable with what you told
It would be 3.633 with K1.
me? Okay.
The open market price today is 3.488. And the market price today with K1 is 3.603.
Market price, is that a futures contract, like a month out, or
That's today.
it's the actual spot today? They have a spot market then, too?
And that
Okay,
can change if you call now or if you try to call at 2 o'clock.
okay. All right.
Floats.
Spot market.
Who that one's from? Item number 4, aggregate gravel. From Old Prairie. Item number 4, aggregate gravel. We're on Angola.
Heard of them. Who is it again?
Old Prairie. Up on 600 West. Angola.
Okay.
Excuse me. Asphalt materials. Item number 5, liquid bituminous. They bid on the emulsions for sealing A90, 289.3. And they bid some other materials too.
Last one?
Yep,
Why didn't you start with that one?
because I was told not to.
You have to make the auditor happy.
He wants paid.
Air, D. Hughes, milling, DBA, air marking. Item number 9, payment markings. Air marking must have sold. I've never seen it called that before. Yes, they bid on our pavement markings.
It's only one diesel bid.
One fuel bid.
Question is, do we lock that in today, or do we wait till next meeting? Or on the diesel, it could be at its low spot or low point right now.
Could be
And
at
it
a
might
high,
not be.
could be
but-
at a high too.
I don't think.
It's all administration, I mean, you know,
Well, we've just had a big drop.
yeah.
We're talking 79 cents
It was 70 cents higher 2 weeks ago.
weeks ago.
The fuel markets, I mean, I talked to Bruce and a few others. It sounds like we're at the bottom right now. At some point, it's going to spike back here real soon, I
I
think.
think so.
But I don't know how long it will stay. There's a lot of things going on overseas. We all know that can dictate which direction this goes. Last year, we was locked in at
51.
288.7. That was taxes and everything, I believe, in that price. So we're 50 cents, a little over 50 cents a gallon higher, taxes and everything, which is cheaper than where I anticipated on being.
Yeah.
I was really nervous about the annual bids this year. We've always done pretty good with locking in the past. This last year saved us a lot of money. It's nice to know when we're locked on a budget standpoint. I know where I'm going to be. Since I've been here, when we've locked, there's times that fuel has went a little bit cheaper, but not for long enough to where we've really lost a lot of money. It seems like we've always broke even or come out ahead by locking. Bruce could probably elaborate if you got any questions for him, but the market, like you said, it used to change a couple, 2-3 cents a day. There was a day here, he's telling me out there, a couple weeks ago, it fell 45 cents one day, or it goes up that high in one day. So it's the crystal ball, guys. I mean, we've seen where diesel prices was all this summer, where they're still at the pump. From what I see, this is a good bid. That's a good price, $2.95 without taxes, and so we're at $351.8. The one nice thing I will tell you with Ceres, there is an escalation clause in our contract. They have never implemented that on us. That's been very nice.
Yeah, that's something to definitely take into consideration.
And with the fuel we've always had from Ceres that I've had since I've been here, we have not had any fuel issues. And that is huge with diesel trucks, especially in the middle of winter.
Oh, my.
That's been very good. Service with Ceres has been very well. Ultimately, that's who we've always used since we've been here, but the customer service, the fuel quality has been there. There's no reason not to ever not award them a bid, as far as my opinion. I'm comfortable with this bid. I budgeted that for next year. I guess it's in your guys' ballpark if you want to gamble another week or two. I've always come out below when I've gambled, so I'll leave it up to you guys. If you guys want to pursue, if I review this bid real quick, it looks like everything is here. Because this is the only bid that we have that we can award today. The other ones we'll have to take under advisement for 2 weeks and bring back.
Right.
But he's got his Form 95 here, completed, notarized, bid. got his specs and his terminal information, so he's got all of his stuff here.
And we really did well this year. We're ahead of the game big time compared to what we locked into versus what retail is anyway. So,
Oh, yeah.
I think the increase over last year is less than I anticipated.
yeah,
Especially a month ago, or
I'd
I'd be in favor of locking this in.
be inclined to. I think this economy is going to suffer some pain that'll eventually bring down the price, but I think we're gambling at that point.
Yeah.
We're trying to save pennies and maybe walking over dimes if we do that. So I think it's
63
better to
cents.
lock it.
We can't make decisions with crystal balls.
No.
You know, we just,
That's what I'm
we got to
saying.
deal with what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I agree. So I think I'd make a motion, we lock in the diesel price at the bid.
Second.
A motion and second. Discussion?
And K1, the fuel prices, let me rephrase that as fuel prices.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Lock it in.
Okay, can you do that for me?
We get a 10% discount for doing it today, right?
Well, then if I could have a motion from someone to let me take these other bids under advisement, bring them back in 2 weeks, what date will that be?
The ninth.
January 9th?
January 9th.
January 9th meeting?
I'll move for the highway superintendent to take the balance of the bids under advisement and present them on December 9th, or January 9th, or whenever it is we come back. January 9th, 23.
I would second that.
Motion and second. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Well,
Okay,
thank you, Ben.
thank you, guys. That's all I have for you guys, unless you guys have anything else for me.
I have nothing.
No,
We'll get Mike in here the next, and
now Mike is pacing.
he's out there
outside, so-
waiting, so we're pretty
Yeah,
close to
sorry for
being
the
on
delay.
schedule.
Thanks.
No, that's all good, Ben. Thank you for
Yeah.
handling
Probably
it.
got carpal tunnel from,
Yeah,
I don't remember getting this many bids.
Especially by bituminous, we got a bunch there and then gravel.
Gravel, it's like a year ago, we had trouble getting gravel
Yeah.
for drain projects.
well, yeah, that last
It shut us
bid
off.
we did on the grain, we only got one aggregate bid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one bid. I'm surprised,
Yeah,
pleasantly.
good.
Competition.
Competition's
you, Ben.
always good.
yep, thank you, guys.
Have a good one, Ben.
Go sharpen those snowplow blades.
Yeah. Have fun. And Mr. Sherrick. Yeah.
Bought the whole squad, huh? No, we're fine.
They're ready for you.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
coming up, have a seat, turn on your mic, pull the mic up. If you want.
Whatever's easier, but yeah, just
That
make
way,
sure the
everybody, you don't have
mic's,
to switch back and forth at the podium.
make sure the green light's on, just tap and if you would, pull it towards you. We're having, yeah, you're fine. We're having complaints that people can't hear us online. so-
We are online, we're public,
Yep.
so you're on candid camera.
Streaming live on YouTube.
You know, if you would have
Just
told
hit
me
the
that, I'd
button
done my
there,
hair.
so you get the green light.
Not
Chad,
that-
if you would hit yours so you get the green light there.
Not that it takes it very long to do that. so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have that same situation, Mike.
Right, right. Well, I know you guys are busy, so I want to thank you for letting us come in again today. You know, I was thinking about it, I should have looked in the office, but I think we've worked with you guys for over 50 years now, handling the county's insurance. And from my perspective, it's one of the great pleasure I've had during our career, just because of the community itself and how much each one of you care about our community. And, you know, I guess I get to see a little bit of it. So I thank you for that opportunity. One of the, on your workman's comp, we don't get other quotes on an annual basis on your workers' comp for a reason. Basically the reason I don't think it's wise to do so, because if you keep going, as we've spoke about before, if you keep going back every year, nobody's going to take us with any credibility. This year, your experience mod has gone up a little bit, and so we felt that it was wise for us to look for other options. And Kyle's done a lot of the legwork most of the legwork on this, so I'm going to let him go through what we've been able to present. We also want to talk a little bit, because your mod's going up, I want to talk a little bit about your safety committee. In the past, when the safety committee has been really active and engaged, you know, we've had a direct correlation to your experience on your workman's comp. It goes down. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Part of the key to that are the commissioners. Your endorsement of it, your encouragement with the department heads is always going to be a key factor in making sure that the committee meets on a regular basis. They're doing the things that we recommended. I think IPAP probably has the best resources in our industry for public works, especially on the work comp side. So I think there's things that we could do to, I don't want to say that, to get the mod going back in another direction. And as I've shared with some, maybe not this group, but in the past, if we could get your mod down to like a 0.8, you know, from where it's at today, that's like giving you enough extra cash to hire another employee. It's, you know, it could be that significant to you. So let me let Kyle go through the numbers with you, and then we'll talk more about the safety aspects of it.
I believe Dottie was named.
Hold that up just a little closer.
I believe Dottie was named safety committee chair here just in the last month or so. So we've reached out to her to see how we can be a resource and help, and plan to loop in IPEP as well throughout that process. So let me hand out these for you guys. Here's a couple for you. Pass those around the horn. That'd be great. So like we talked about in September, and like Mike kind of opened up with, we are seeing a uptick in our experience mod. It has jumped from a 1.0 to a 1.24. Yeah. So we've got, you know, a 24% increase just off that factor alone right there. The other item that we have this year is we increased payroll, looked like 6.4% across the board. Each line item was right at 6.4%. So when you have 6.4 increase in payroll and then a higher modifier, things go up, right? IPEP did a really nice job to work with us this year. They did, you guys saw a net reduction in rate. So they gave you some extra credits there than what you didn't have last year to help offset as best they could. But, you know, there's only so much offsetting there at that time. So if you look at that first page, if you open it up, we have the payrolls. Just so you guys know, the biggest driver by far for this work comp is going to be the police code. I mean, that not only is it 5 million, but it's at a pretty good rate just by the sheer function of what they do. The next highest class that's going to drive premium for you guys is that streets and roads. So those two are probably 85–90% of your guys' premium, and then the rest of it just kind of falls how it falls. Less payroll and then just lesser codes, or lesser rates, I should say, at that level. Like Mike said, we went to market this year for you guys, and we went to 3 different companies that got quotes back to us. We went to a handful of other companies that declined just because of the experience mod and the claims history. So we went to a company called Bitco, Argent, and then obviously IPEP, the incumbent, was able to give us a quote as well. You can kind of see how the rates fell there. IPEP still had the best quote for us this year. Bitco was in the ballpark, I would say, and then Argent really wasn't. They came back with a $210,000 indication, and why that was an indication, not a firm quote, was they wanted to come out and do a full loss control survey to get a firm quote, and if they weren't going to be competitive, we don't want to put your guys' crew through that work unnecessarily. So, as Mike said, we see the increase in payroll there. You can see in that left column there was the expiring payroll with the lower payrolls, and then your prior experience model was a 1.0.
So the way they calculate those, I mean, it's surely dollars in, dollars out as far as premium paid in, claims paid out. And that 1.0 is kind of industry standard. We do see clients that can be down that 0.80, like Mike said. We see clients that can get up to 2.0, you know. So really, once it starts trending the wrong direction, without some focus on a safety committee and doing the right things, it can really become a problem. So we're not there yet with a major problem. We are seeing the uptick, and we just want to work with you guys, like Mike said, to figure out how we can partner together to make sure we're getting out ahead of this thing.
You know, what's interesting is it only takes one big claim to screw up your multiplier or your experience ratio. How do you stop? I'm fully in favor of the safety thing, but when a police officer grabs a ball and he's throwing a ball for his dog to go get it, he rips his rotator cuff out and it costs us $200,000. I mean, you can go all the safety committees you want,
Right.
you know, or someone slips on ice, you know, well, we try to solve everything, but you get those big claims and it just hoses you right there. You're done.
You know, I fully agree with that. You know, that's why the three of us have a job. People have claims like that.
Right.
But one of the things that, you know, I will say that when you're cognizant of safety, you know, there's always a direct correlation. Throughout my career, companies that have had a focus on safety, their mods have gone down. Company, you know, meaning their leadership, it goes from the management to the managers to the rank and file. When everybody understands that safety is out in front of them, your mod will always trend downward.
All right.
Now, again, I don't know if it's a psyche thing, you know, because again, you know, accidents happen, and why we have this. But historically, when people are focused on safety, your mod will drop. So, and if we could get it down, I think in your particular case, if we could get our mod down to the 0.8, compared to where we're at, you know, you're talking probably saving $50,000 or $60,000. You know, so the amount of time that we could take, you know, and it takes a few minutes every week and every month. The safety committee meeting on a regular basis, you know, keep it in front of the managers, making sure they're accountable. You know, again, I'm not going to discount anything you say because I think it's all true.
Oh, no, I love the idea. I'm just saying our biggest hits have been ones that we have no control of. And who knows if their arm was messed up before they threw the ball, and you know and you pay anyway. That's why I understand the people, you know, and it's all good. I don't know how you get under that 1.0 when you have situations like that, single issues that put us over.
How many claims do we have in the last?
Go ahead, Mike. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think accidents
22.
happen less frequently when you're focused on safety, though, just because somebody might think twice before stepping out on the ice and seeing it's not salted or, things like that. So if they know that you're really in a prevention mindset, I think it makes a difference.
And again, we could do seminars on the front end in the wintertime and focus on that. In the last year, we had 22 claims. For the number of employees that we have, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's a high number. Yeah. You know, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that we'd have less than half of that.
Really? Okay.
For an account number, because we have about 200 employees, a little over that.
Yeah.
It would be unreasonable to think that we'd have less than half. How many did we have the year before?
27 the year before and 27 the year before that.
Yeah, and our safety committee we quit. If you think back, we quit when COVID started.
Right.
And so, since we've not re-engaged, I'm not saying it's going to be the miracle answer for us, but in the past when we've done this, because we've trended high like this in the past, when we engaged with this, it dropped. The mod dropped and the claim frequency dropped. So we just need your help with it.
Yeah, I saw Dottie sneak in there.
And Dottie's help.
Yeah,
Dottie's great help with this, really good at always understands it well. I think we're happy that she's going to lead this. Help us with it.
And one thing, like to your point, Mike, frequency can lead to severity commonly. And when underwriters see a lot of small ticky-tack stuff, the chance of that 10th one being something that's bigger is a high likelihood. So like Mike said, just limiting the claims, getting the the culture or maybe the marketing out to the people so that they're mindful of it is really just the best first step. And then like Todd said, one large claim, $250,000 claim from throwing a ball. How do you prevent that? How do you predict that? You can't, but if we can shore up some of the smaller ones and the frequency issues, I think it helps counteract that as best we can. So, go ahead, Mike.
You know, and even the larger claim, the one large, they cap it at like 20,000, you know, against your comp.
Against your comp?
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
it?
they're your mod, so
Okay.
they're not gonna hold that entirely against
Okay.
that. So, and I think part of the driver, two things drive the mod, it's amount paid and number of claims. So if we can work on that, and again, I'm happy that she's been great in the past to help us, and there's no reason to think she's not gonna be great to help us going forward. So I just appreciate all your help, and Dottie's thinking, are you volunteering me to help? We're not, we're just, I guess we're asking for it more than anything, Dottie, so. So I just think it's an opportunity for us.
Yeah.
Agree.
So we did, like we said, we went to market. That's kind of how things fell. Really, we didn't want to move from IPEP because we really do feel like the back end support, not only just claims, but the resources they can provide are far superior to these other companies we went to. We want to do our due diligence. I believe IPEP, last I heard, had 61 of the 91 counties in Indiana insured. And about 15 to 20 of the ones that they don't insure, they don't have interest in insuring because of a variety of reasons. So they really do a really good job inside the state of really being the premier carrier for us. So, any questions on your guys' end off the top? The next 4 pages I threw in here as we kind of look moving forward towards what we can do. I know Dottie's familiar with an individual by the name of Nevena. She's a loss control specialist for IPEP. She's wonderful. We work with her probably monthly with different accounts, and just has a lot of wisdom and knowledge that she can help with. Next handful of pages is just kind of a brief outline of all the things that they can offer for you guys. They'll also kind of have some representation on a safety committee. They can't be here in person every time for safety committee meeting, but they're happy to help game plan ahead of time what topics there might be or what resources they could provide to do it. So I guess at the end of the day, whether it's IPEP or us, just letting us know how we can partner and do that for you guys. Kind of the message we want to get across to you guys.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Dottie will keep you informed on that. But I think anytime that we can take advantage of those kind of resources, we're way ahead of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Any questions or things that we didn't talk about that we should have talked about?
I have none.
No?
No?
We're looking forward to the next year to work with you on this and try to get it in a better place. It takes a couple of years to correct things. It takes, you know, what the mod is calculated on is not even the current year is not part of the mod calculation. So next year we can anticipate your mod's going to go up again. There's not going to be a lot of, so what we're doing is we're trying to seed, you know, for 2, 3, and 4 years ahead, because that's really your current year, you know, it doesn't apply in that year, but it's always the next 3 years. Because they need to let the claim settle, so.
A good point. So I was going to make a note on that. Your current year, we're having a good year as far as claims this year.
Right. We
have about 36,000 in claims this year. And the prior 3 years were 151, 275, and 14,000. So we had 2 big years in there and 1 good year. The problem is, as we roll forward, that 14,000 is going to fall off, and we're going to take on a 36. So next year's not the year we're going to see a better experience mod the way it works. But if we have another 36,000 year or a good year, that 275 is going to fall off the next year. Yeah. And so we're 2 years away from really paying the dividends.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of what we're targeting as far as help.
So we have a little short-term pain coming, but after that, if we can keep our mod down, keep our claim level down, we'll be better.
Seeing
Yeah, but hopefully
benefits.
it's a short cycle for you guys.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Anything else? Anyone? Questions, comments?
Nope.
And Sue, I know we got these payrolls from you, I believe. I think Susan in her office got them. So these should be good. So we're good from our end to issue the policy and get things moving.
Okay. Sounds good.
Rock and roll.
We'll get this policy issued for you.
You're going to use IPEP, correct?
Yeah, through IPEP, yeah.
IPEP's been good to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the conversation. I believe it was it Nevena?
Yeah, Nevena.
Yeah, Nevena. She was very helpful last time I talked to her. She came in here and talked to us, and so, yeah. Okay, great.
Anything else?
Thanks for your support, and again, any endorsement you can give going forward on the safety side of it, will weigh heavily on typically does.
We'll keep working on that.
Count on it.
I know, Bill, and before COVID, Bill used to come to the meetings. You came to the safety meetings before COVID.
Yes, like I said, yeah.
So, and I just felt that it just was really
So who do you have with you? I know you two,
Oh.
but.
I'm Chad.
This is Chad
Chad.
from our
Yep.
office.
Okay. What's your last name?
Roberts.
Thank you.
Okay.
We do have some Christmas caramels there that are very good. So don't.
You gonna, is that right?
All right.
They're all
They're
zero
good.
calorie.
You gonna
They're
force
very
that,
good.
you gonna force that on us, huh?
Yeah, I know.
They're
That time
good,
of year.
trust me. They just melt in your mouth.
They do. They're very good.
And they added some chocolate to it as well. this
Yeah, I
year
saw
for the-
that.
For the chocolate lovers in your
Yeah.
group, so.
Little variety.
Yeah,
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Especially dark.
Those caramels are like drugs. You can't eat one.
Well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Merry Christmas. to all of
Thanks,
you.
Merry
Merry
Christmas to you all too.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we'll
you
be in touch
working
here.
hard and looking for more quotes, and
That's happy
makes
to do it.
sense. Appreciate the advanced explanation too or the extended explanation of how the mod is calculated.
Sure.
Be nice to see that 275 claim fall off. Or 275 year, I should say. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Stay safe,
Have a good
stay
day.
warm.
Merry
Have a
Christmas.
great one.
Okay. Do we have Epic here?
Yep. That's Denny.
Yep. Come on up, Epic. We'll get you in early and get you out.
Boy, we're just
we
running ahead
need-
all day today. That's a good
I
thing.
ain't gonna
Do we
say, I
need
was
that?
That's, you're doing.
kind of worried about this last night, getting
What, you
through
getting high
this.
tech with us?
Slide,
High tech.
that means I got to move.
Let's just, yeah, sit there and make sure
Well,
the
that's,
mic.
I got quite a
light's
bit
turned
more
on there.
forehead than I used to have. It might work, you know.
Got a question. Is there, well, no, I guess it wouldn't. Never mind. It had to do with this and the slide, if that could be incorporated all in one, but if we have someone participating, that could be the slide machine too. Never mind. My head's just, I need to stay focused.
Get that ADD under control.
Oh, yes. Lots of them.
Why is it we got insurance, so everybody left?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's boring.
Denny, everybody, this is Denny, right?
Hi, Denny.
Employee plan?
Mm-hmm.
Laser
You're gonna let me
pointer.
drive?
No, actually, it is on, you remember? That's what I was on the computer. Under
One of the 57 drives and
Yeah, which
2,000
server?
file folders.
I emailed her a hard copy because I've been these before where
Yes. Smart,
technology don't work, so I'm
smart.
so this will forward them.
That'll be this once I get there.
I actually brought my own laser. All right, well, they're getting us set up here. Just let me introduce myself. I'm Denny Wright. I am Vice President, Employee Plans, LLC. We've been around a long time. We administer the plans for both the City of Auburn and DeKalb Central Schools, if you haven't already been told that. I'm old. I've been doing this a long time. I won't tell you how long, but a long time. I'm a registered health underwriter. I'm a certified self-funded professional. That's a professional designation that the National Association of Health Underwriters puts out. I actually authored the original course years ago that they used for that professional designation. And I've been doing this since 1985. And I personally manage both the City of Auburn's plan and DeKalb Central Schools plan. So, give you some background here. And what I'm going to do is I was told I get 45 minutes, so I'm going to take about 2 minutes and talk about me and my company, and then we're going to spend 43 minutes talking about you folks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a forensic autopsy into what you're doing. And then I'm going to give you a strategic 5-year plan. If I was in your shoes, this is what I'd do and why. Okay? So.
Pointer working. No?
There it is. This is mine. I gave the other one back. All right, we're going to get started. If you'll just look at your handout, if you just look at your handout.
Yeah, this is fine.
Employee plans, they are part of the old insurance and risk management. They've been a third-party administrator. They've been around since the late 1970s. I competed against them for almost a quarter of a century. And 11 years ago, April 1st of 2023, I will have been there 11 years. My prior TPA I owned, IntraHealth Solutions Incorporated, that administered the city before I sold it to Employee Plans 11 years ago. I ended up, being approached by them, and they acquired me. And 11 years ago almost, they hired me as part of the deal, and I've been a vice president there since. But we are one of the top third-party administrators in this region. We're owned by Epic, which is a national firm. And we administer a ton of groups in many states. I think we got business in 33 states, but the majority of our business is cited in Indiana, and then probably Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, and Tennessee is probably. Thank you, Rick. But like I said, we do a really good job. And when I decided, they passed Obamacare, and I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm, a regional TPA in Fort Wayne. I own 75% of myself, and then had other shareholders on the other 25. But with Obamacare coming down and all the things happening, we've been through a major recession. So in 2011, they approached me. Thank you. In 2011, they approached me. Now, how does this thing work here?
So you'll have to have it on the desk to move it what you want to do, and then.
How do I move forward here?
You just be able to click.
Look at. All right.
Better?
I figured it out. I learned quick. All right.
There.
So in any event,
I made the decision to sell my operation to these people and go to work for them. Like I said, I'd competed against them in the marketplace for almost a quarter of a century. I knew people there. They had the same claim system I did, and it's been a very successful. Almost all the clients that I moved to them almost 11 years ago, one of them's right across the street over here, City of Auburn, are still with us. Okay, and they do a great job. And we represent some of the, all the top stop-loss carriers in the industry. We have technology. We have a tremendous amount of resources that I'm not going to really go into now. And then, like I said, we're owned by Epic, and Epic is a national firm. And just what does that mean to me and to my clients? Just a few things here. Get the hang of this quick. How this thing works. So, but Epic. Just some things that might make a difference to you. They have their own in-house ERISA attorneys. We use Ice Miller in Indianapolis for outside ERISA counsel, but we have our own in-house ERISA staff. So we have our own in-house actuarial firms in Atlanta. So like DeKalb schools, they had to use a outside actuary in Kansas City. State Board of Accounts requires them to do some things, and now we have it in-house. But we have some of the most state-of-the-art technology in the industry. And then Epic, they're 2,600 employees nationwide. They have regional offices. Indianapolis is the Midwest region. They have one in California, one in New York, and one in Atlanta, Georgia, and one in Dallas, Texas. But I think they've got over 100 offices in all 50 states nationwide. So in any event, let's do a deep dive now into, thank you for driving. Let's do a deep dive into just what you're doing right now. And like I said, I just want to do a little bit of a forensic autopsy and what you're doing. And then we're going to give you kind of an idea what you probably should be doing. And when we do this little autopsy, I'm going to point out a few red flags that I see. So Dottie was nice enough to share with me, this is your last renewal with Anthem, your fully insured carrier. And I don't know if you've ever seen this or anybody ever explained this to you before. But basically, you have 195 employees at this time right here, and you have 316 member lives. I call that belly buttons. Excuse my French, I'm a dumb old Indiana farm boy, so if I kind of get a little into the weeds, I apologize ahead of time. But basically, this is an actuarial analysis of your renewal for 7/1/2022. And so where it says pool claim 75,000, what they do, right here, what they do, okay, is they go out and buy reinsurance, okay? And if you were self-funded or partially self-funded, you would do the same thing. And what they're doing, they're capping your liability on any one of these 316 belly buttons on this plan in this plan year at 75,000. And if anybody goes over 75,000, which every year if you do, okay, you pay in your renewal $237.19 per belly button per month for that reinsurance premium. That's baked into your rates, okay? And if you're partially self-funded, we would just buy stop loss from, we have a bunch of different carriers, okay? And if I end up doing this with you or quoting this, I'm probably going to quote a $75,000 specific deductible and probably 100,000, because I think that probably is a little low for the size of your group and the claim history you've done the last 3 years, in my opinion. But we're going to quote probably a 75 specific and 100,000. What that means in plain English, you're going to cap your liability in any large claimant, and that could be an employee or a dependent, for that plan year at that level. So if somebody has a premature baby that's $250,000, if you buy a 75,000 specific, you're only going to be on the hook for 75, and the reinsurer will pay the rest. Okay? And that's what they're doing internally right now. Okay? And what they do, they come up with all these different, like leverage trend. Okay, right here, they're saying leverage trend is 11%. That's like the medical inflation rate. But it's interesting, when they charged you 12.5%. Okay? Now, this was for July of 2022, and this was probably done, I'm going to say, April of 2022, maybe a month or two before or after that. Leverage trend, the medical inflation rate in Northeast Indiana has increased significantly. Just like price of meat or gasoline's finally coming down, but a lot of things are sky high. Groceries, all kinds of things. And you notice this when you do your budgets. And medical care has really risen tremendously in Northeast Indiana. Right now, today, I'm being told the average trend by all the experts is like running 18 to 19% in Northeast Indiana. But it was averaging about 11 or 12% back a year ago. So that will go into your renewal, okay? And, but you follow this. This is just an actuary projection. And we'll go to the next page, if you would, please, Dottie. Okay. Like the hot rider, what's that mean? That means human organ and tissue transplant. So they're buying another reinsurance policy that they're charging you $459 per member per month for if you have a human organ transplant, they're carving that out too and reinsuring that. And we can do the same thing. We have a number of carriers that, we can package, we can make this look exactly like a fully insured plan, but it's partially self-funded. And the big difference is if there's money left over at the end of the plan year, it belongs to the plan sponsor, DeKalb County government, and not gravy profit for an insurance carrier. And I'm going to give you a 5-year history of the other two major governmental entities in this county, what they've saved over the last 5 years doing that when we get down to the end here. But anyway, they add all these other fees. There's commission, there's administrative expenses, and they come up with what they think your required premium per member per month is, okay? And they're saying you should have had about a 25% rate increase. I understand you kind of beat them down and negotiate them down. It was more like, what, 10 or 11?
It was about 12%.
12%, okay.
It netted out about 9 with the premium credit.
Yeah, they gave us a
But the
premium
actual-
about 9.
Okay.
But the actual increase
about
was
12,
12.
yes.
Okay.
Of course, they don't count that premium credit
Okay,
as.
all right, okay. And that, it's a negotiated business, you can do that. But this is a real, true, actual projection of what probably you should have been at, okay? And let's go to the next one, okay? Dottie was nice enough to share your last review meeting, and I selectively picked a few of those slides that Anthem provided in that review to talk about. But, so we're running 12 or 13% under where they probably should have projected this year already. Now, on top of that, your claims, they say, are running about 17.5% over what they projected. Okay? Here, your high-cost claimants, 10 individuals out of 314 people, that's only about 3% of the total, are almost half your claims. Out of 316 belly buttons, only 10 are about half your claims. Okay? And so we're running, 12%, let's say 13% under where it should have been maybe on July 1 of this year. At this point in this review, you're running about 17.5% over what they projected. And now we got a medical inflation rate like 18, 19%. So what do you think your rate increase might be in July of 2023? I'm just prefacing this, okay? And you're not unique because the claims are going out of control with some groups, and we're seeing huge increases in costs of medical care, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. We're seeing about the same number of serious diagnoses, but post-pandemic, we're seeing the level of severity greater. So for example, like maybe in 2019, somebody's diagnosed with a cancer, it might be stage 1, stage 2, and now we're seeing people come in and it's stage 3, stage 4. And it's further along. There's a lot of things going on out there in the marketplace, okay? But next slide, please. Okay, let's do a deep dive on your membership. So again, this is your own carrier's data. I'm just it's like sight reading music here. But they're basically saying that about 42% of your current population is not real healthy. And a bunch of them have chronic conditions. Historically, that could be high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, all kinds of other things too, but those are the big ones. And you got 3.4% that are critically in bad health. And then you got another 4.6% that are at risk. Okay. Again, I'm going to give you advice. If I was in your shoes, I've been doing this a long time, you can't control your healthcare costs. You can't do it. But there are things you can do to proactively manage things that definitely will help your bottom line and what it costs you to provide health care to your employees. A lot of things you can do, and we'll talk about that. But some more deep dive. Okay, your average age is 46 right here. Now, they don't say if that is for employees or all members, all belly buttons. But to give you some statistics, DeKalb Central Schools, their average employee age is 46.94. Their average member age is 33.68. The city, their average employee age, and it's come down quite a bit over the last few years with retirements and so forth, but their average employee age is 43.82. And their member age is 30.06. So you're pretty much in the ballpark here. You're not significantly higher or lower. You're pretty much average, okay? And your average contract size in plain English, that means your family size. Your okay, I think the average age of all members, I believe, would be 38.3, and average age of employees is, so you're right there with the other larger county groups, okay? And you got a 50-50 male-female, which is pretty common also, okay? Next slide, please. Here's another one that kind of raised some red flags. This is your emergency room visits. They call emergency department. But your ER visits are 39.6% above their average. That's a red flag, okay? And almost all those visits were avoidable. And again, this is according to your care. This tells me two things. You got people that are using the ER as a family physician, okay? And you're spending, money there you don't need to, okay? Like your school corporation, they have a on-site clinic that they've had. It used to be in the elementary school over here by the hospital. And a couple of years ago, they moved it over here to the DeKalb High School campus, okay? And it's very successful. They let all employees that are employees use it at no cost, okay? And they have staff there. It's open different hours, different days of the week, and it's very successful. And a lot of people use that as their what we call medical home. And it's been very successful, okay? And they would even be open maybe to letting the county use that. Now, in 2009, I set up a clinic for Central Noble Community Schools up in Albion and Noble County. Central Noble put the building up. They bought all the equipment. There's like 3 exam rooms, and they ended up letting Noble County, they did what's called an interlocal agreement, which is common between governmental entities, and they let Noble County use the clinic, and Noble County pays a reasonable fee to use the clinic, then they split the cost. They have a vendor that they hire called WeCare. And WeCare staffs it with a board-certified MD and a nurse practitioner, and I think there's an RN, and then I think there's a medical assistant. And I think it's open 4 or 5 days a week, but it's been super successful. 90%, I do not have the county's plan, but I've had Central Noble Community Schools for like 26 years. Just like I personally manage these, I do that one too. And I'm on my seventh or eighth school superintendent. And a new guy just come in. So it's been super successful. I know the school system, I'd say 70% of all their employees use the clinic as their medical home.
That's great.
And it dispenses prescriptions, and DeKalb Central Schools, same way. But you can talk to the people up at Noble County or at Central Noble Schools, and they will tell you they could not do, that clinic has made a huge difference. And it's also lowered their health plan costs significantly too. Okay? Next slide, please. Okay, so this is something else that I kind of noticed when Dottie was sharing this with me. But, you know, your current carrier has some programs they offer. This Live Health Online, I assume, is some kind of a telehealth program. Most employers today have this type of program built into their plan. We do something called Teledoc. We have a national vendor. It's actually the largest vendor that does this in the industry. But when COVID came about, this became almost, you had to do it because a lot of doctors closed down and you couldn't get in. But it's super convenient. It saves you a lot of money. But one thing here, you've only had 4 people. Out of 316 belly buttons, only 4 people have used it. And only 12 members are registered. Out of 316, only 12. That's like another about, what, 3.1, 3.2%. That is wrong. That's a big red flag. Then they also have something called incentive program utilization. Engagement 200 incentive program. That is like a wellness program. And again, you only have a handful of people, out of 316 members, you have a handful of people even looking at it or doing anything with it. And again, I'll just share with, DeKalb Central Schools has a very robust wellness program. I've shared with some of your people here. And when we were at that meeting, Wendy Pettis said that, 90-some% of all their people, everybody on the health plan, each year they have a wellness committee. And they decide what you need to do to qualify each year. But I believe it's 8% is the premium differential. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do for the health plan, they charge 8% more in premium to be on their health plan.
I think it's 9% this year.
Is it 9? Okay, they bumped it
If they
up.
don't participate in the wellness program, they pay more.
If they participate, they get a 9% discount.
Or it's a discount. It's a
Either you
discount,
pay
not
more-
a
It's either a
surcharge.
carrot or,
Okay, so-
whichever way you want to look at it. But it's a 9% differential this year. It was 8.
Yeah.
But I think they have like, what, 96% of all the employees on the health plan and adult spouses.
Yeah, they have like 700
Wow.
total on the.
They
on
have
the
about
plan.
800
Yeah,
total.
Yeah,
But almost everybody does it.
yeah.
Okay, and it's had huge impacts on their healthcare costs.
Interesting.
Because remember that slide where you got all these people, there's 40% of your population that's got chronic conditions and they're not taking care of themselves. If somebody's a type 2 diabetic, you need to go in and have an A1C at least probably 2 or 3 times a year. You need to probably take medication. And if people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, they're your next shot claimants. If somebody's got hypertension, high blood pressure, and I have both, but as some of you might do, I take a couple pills every day for my high blood pressure. I go in a couple times a year and have my blood pressure checked, and I check it myself at home. I got a meter at home, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I would be what's called compliant. But you got a bunch of people that are not doing what they should be doing to take care of themselves. And those are your next biggest shot claimants. Okay? Okay, now we're going to talk about prescription drugs. And there's some red flags here. Prescription drugs are the fastest growing component of the entire healthcare spend. I repeat, prescription drugs over the last 4 or 5 years have become the fastest growing component of the entire healthcare spend. Your generic substitution rate, according to your carrier, is 83.6%. For every 1% more you can increase that generic substitution rate, you will lower your overall prescription drug spend 2.5% to 3%.
Wow.
Most groups, if they're doing things to help encourage people to use prescription drugs and use generic if they can, you can get that up to 89 or 90%. So even if you bumped it up from 83, let's say you bump it up 5% to 80, 88, okay? That could save you 12 to 15% of your entire prescription spend. And your current spend is almost $550,000 for prescription drugs, according to your carrier. I assume that's an annualized number. Okay? But look at why you want to encourage people to use generic. So 18% of your total cost paid for prescription drugs was generic. And it's 83.6% of all the scripts that were dispensed.
That's amazing.
And 16.4% were brand. And they don't break out specialty pharmacy. I would say you probably have a handful of people using specialty pharmacy, which are the most expensive, okay? But you're spending almost 82% of the entire prescription drug spend on this group for only 16.5% of the total scripts written. That is a big red flag. There are things you can do to manage this, okay? Both the city and both the school system have put programs in that have dramatically dropped their prescription drug spend, and we can do the same thing here. And I'll share that with you, but a couple other quick things. Okay, 95% of all your scripts dispensed are through a retail facility, and only 5 are through the mail order, okay? I almost am positive you're going to have a good percentage of people that take what's called maintenance medications. What's the difference between a maintenance medication and an acute medication? Maintenance medication like me, I've got high blood pressure, I take a couple pills a day for that. I've got type 2 diabetes, I take a couple things for that. Those I take on an ongoing basis all the time. Okay, those are maintenance medications. If you get bronchitis or something, you got to go have an antibiotic, that's an acute care drug. Take it for 10 days or 5 days or whatever. But you're paying by letting all these people on maintenance medications just go to the retail and then go probably anywhere they want, then go to CVS or Walgreens or Kroger or Meijer or Walmart, wherever they want to go. They all got pharmacies. You're paying about 20 to 30% more for letting all these people do this. So what does the city do and what does the school system do? They have something called mandatory maintenance choice. And they use CVS as their PBM, their pharmacy benefit manager, which is the largest PBM in the industry. And basically, with managed maintenance choice, anybody on maintenance medications, they're required to use the mail order, or they can go to any retail CVS in the country and get a 90-day supply, less cost per pill. They save money, and the employer saves about 25 to 30% that pays the lion's share of the cost. Some people want to go to a retail. Some people got a better relationship with the pharmacist across the counter than they do with their own doctor. So they want to go to a pharmacist. So you can go to any CVS and get the same pricing, or you go to the mail order. And it'll save you a ton of money.
Who would negotiate the rates for, let's say we pick CVS? Was that you that negotiates that?
It's all
or-
done.
It's all
We
done?
have a national contract. Well, Epic is either the second or third largest
Okay.
total, and we have the
So you have
best
agreements in
contract you
place.
can get.
Okay.
And if you work with us, you get plugged in at all of this stuff.
Okay, thank you.
We've got, you wouldn't believe all the things we've got going. That if you're our client, it automatically, we can plug all these things in. But like DeKalb schools had what was called an unmanaged prescription program when I walked in the door. And it took them a while because their teachers union didn't like that. We went to a value formulary, which is a more narrower formulary. It took about 450 expensive brand drugs out of the regular standard formulary and replaced them with generic or biosimilars or other brands that were cheaper, that were more clinically appropriate and less expensive. They put the mandatory maintenance choice in, it dropped their prescription drug spend almost 25% the first year.
And of course, when you're self-funded, that money all
Okay,
comes
next
right
Comes
here.
back, yeah.
Oh, well, let's back up one, Dottie. Okay, I think you just go down. But at the bottom of that, right here, okay. Now, a couple other things, okay? We, with our contract with CVS, you get all the rebates back. Okay? How much rebates do you get with Anthem?
None.
You have any idea what your rebates are?
They haven't shared that information.
Huh?
They haven't shared that.
Pretty high,
with
I'm
us.
sure.
Well, we don't know because they don't disclose it, but that's gravy profit to them. But again, one of the advantages of being with the National Epic, they got their own in-house pharmacy. So I shared some other data that Dottie gave me with a guy that's a PhD in pharmacy that works for Epic. And he projects your rebates are probably $90,000 to $100,000.
Wow.
You're leaving on the table.
Big
And he
money.
said because you're very robust brand utilization, he said it could even be a little higher than that. So if you do things to lower the brand utilization, that will, you don't get rebates on generic.
Right.
But that'll lower your rebates, but you're leaving probably 90 to 100,000 is what he projected. You know what else he told me? He said he would not be surprised if this $550,000 annualized prescription drug spend increases 100 to 150 next plan year. Just because, again, prescription drugs are the fastest growing component of the whole healthcare spend right now. It's crazy. Okay, next slide, please. All right, now, we're done doing the autopsy. And I appreciate your patience, but if I was in your shoes, you know, I said, this is what I would do and why, okay? You need to go to a partially self-funded plan. Okay, there's a lot of reasons why. But statistically, at your size class, 4 out of 5 years, you're going to save money under some type of a partially self-funded arrangement compared to just paying a premium to full insured carrier. The primary reason is because you own and control the claim reserve fund. If there's any money left over at the end of the plan year, it's the county's funds. Do you have any idea how much your other two major county entities have saved the last 5 years by being partially self-funded?
But I bet you can tell us, right?
I did a quick and dirty. I shared this with Rick here while we were waiting for you to get done with your prior speaker here, but DeKalb Central Schools, and this is 9 months of this plan year. Their plan year ends 4/1 of 2023. But through 9 months, they've saved $1,296,260.
Would that be what they've saved versus if they were fully insured?
This is just, they're under what their maximum costs are.
Oh, the maximum cost, okay.
And their loss ratio through 9 months is 61.4. Over 5 years, they've saved $6,893,582. Average savings for the last 5 plan years is $1,378,716. Okay, City of Auburn is about half the size. DeKalb Central Schools is about 330, 340 employee lives and about 800 belly buttons. City of Auburn's about half that size. I think they're running around 160. I don't know how many belly buttons they got. But last year, 7/1 is their renewal date. So the last plan year, their loss ratio was 78.9. They saved $442,499. Their average savings for the last 5 years is $415,756, or $2,078,780. $2,078,780. Okay. Again, number one recommendation: if you do this, and it's not just being self-funded is why they've saved this much money. They've done a lot. They've proactively done a lot of things like I'm talking about in the prior slides to help manage the costs. You can't control them, but you can sure by golly do things to help manage things and improve the employee's health and productivity, absenteeism. There's a lot of win-wins, okay? But this is the number one thing you can do to help control your costs on a long-term basis. And we can make this look and smell just like fully insured. We would put advanced funding in there for specifics. So if you have a $75,000 spec and somebody has a $400,000 cancer claim, all you're going to fund is $75,000. We will also put aggregate advanced funding in, which is you buy reinsurance for all of the claims. So you cap your total experience for the whole plan year for these plan participants. And that has monthly cash flow. It's cheap. It's like sleep insurance. So I can show you premiums for single, employee spouse, employee child, and a full family, which is an employee, a spouse, and at least one child. We can show you this is the maximum you have to fund per month for these head counts. And if you go over that, we have advanced funding on the spec and the A.
Okay.
So you don't have any cash flow problems at all. I can bake in so you have runoff protection. And I won't get into all that right now because we're on home plate and I'm still at first base right now. But we can make this look and protect you financially so it's no different than fully insured. But the difference is you own and control the claim reserve fund. It's your money. It'll be in your federal ID number. If you want it in your bank, it'll be in your bank. Whatever bank you bank at as a county. Okay? And the difference, it's at the end of the year, if there's 1.2 million, it won't be that much first year. I can tell you that right now. These guys have been, both these groups have probably been self-funded for almost 30 years. They were both self-funded long before I ever walked in the door. So, but what we've done is we've really tweaked them and helped them to do things to help, and DeKalb Schools is a lot more proactive with wellness and the clinic than the city is, to be honest with you. And their savings, even though they're larger, their savings is a lot more because they've done things to help lower costs and get people healthier. It's not going to happen overnight. There's no panacea. There's no magic wand. But there's a lot of things you can do to get this thing straightened out and managed a lot better than what's going on right now. And the difference is, this is money that is in their bank account. It's not gravy profit for some fully insured carrier. Okay? Another thing I would recommend, okay, let's keep it on there for a while. Another thing I would recommend, we need to start implementing programs if you go self-funded. There's a lot of these things you can't do unless you're self-funded. But if you go self-funded, we need to start working on implementing things to get your plan participants healthier. Remember that slide, 42% of all your people are unhealthy. And we can do things just like the school system has done. And the city has done things too, but not to the extent that the DeKalb Central Schools has. There's so many things we can do to help manage people with chronic conditions. If the school system would allow you to start working and participate in their clinic, that would be a huge thing for the county.
I like that.
And they are.
You would have to do, and I'm not speaking for them. They've discussed it. I know, they know I'm here. Mike has talked to Steve Snyder.
They're willing to have that conversation.
Yeah, they
Very
are.
much, yeah.
They are. And that would be, I mean, if you could spend $250,000 to let your people go to that clinic and then save $1 million or $1.2 million, what kind of return on investment is that?
I like that
makes
return.
sense.
Yeah.
There's other things, a lot of things you can do. And I don't want to get into a lot of detail here. I'm doing this at a 30,000 foot level. But there are a lot of things you can do that they're doing, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to probably happen the first year, but over a 5-year plan, we can get you to where they're at, and you can be saving these kinds of amounts.
I've always felt this needs to be a long-term commitment.
I'm
You
saying a
can't do
5-year
1 year and then
strategic
bail
plan.
out on it. You gotta,
Don't hop in a year and then hop out.
Yeah.
You need to make a commitment to do this on a long-term basis. And 5 years in this day and age is eternity.
Yeah. Anymore.
Yeah. But it's a long-term, but it will give your employees stability, so you're not hopping carriers every other year and trying to just do the cheapest thing. We'll have 15 different stop-loss carriers quoted every year, okay? We need to implement programs like I briefly touched on that control prescription drugs. We have a program in, but on kidney dialysis, that we can reduce the cost of that in half. If you have that in, stop-loss care gives you discounts. We can put human organ, like a carve-out for organ transplants. Statistically, at your size, you probably have an organ transplant every 5 years. Could have 2 next year, I don't know. But statistically, that your current carrier is buying a hot coverage, so they don't have to pay for it. So we would probably recommend we'll put that in too.
Sure.
And I think you're paying like $5 or something per employee per month, or per member per month for that hot coverage. But it's going to take a few years to get all these things put together and put in. Another big thing that I highly recommend is and I'm not picking on them, but Noble County has had, I don't know, 5 different brokers and 3 different TPAs in the last 5 years. And I see so many governmental entities where, you know, like, and I'm not saying you guys do this, I have no idea, but, you know, get away from the county commissioners trying to micromanage the healthcare plan. Like, the city has a committee, we meet twice a year, every 6 months. The mayor, the clerk treasurer, the deputy clerk treasurer, the human resource, Kimberly, and they pretty much manage the plan. We make recommendations, suggestions, they kick it around, and then they go to the Board of Works. And the Board of Works has the authority every year for the renewal and what they do, and I go to the Board of Works meeting every year, and they ask me to come up, but it sounds like they've already heard it all, and they know everything, and that's pretty much what they always vote to do, whatever the committee recommends. The school board over here, they have authority and oversight on everything they do. But I've been to one school board meeting all the years I've been working with them. And that was when Parkview bought the hospital here. And they asked me to come. I didn't have to talk, but they asked me to be there in case there was questions. But, you know, they have a business manager and a superintendent and the human resource person, and we meet probably 3 times a year, and they make all the decisions, and then the school board approves it. They have oversight and ultimate authority on everything, but they don't get involved in micromanaging at that level. And that's the best advice I could give any governmental entity, is stay out of trying to get a committee of a handful of people you know and trust, and let them, and then you already kind of got a quasi thing going here with maybe a county commissioner and a county council and their human resource person, maybe if you want to add another person or 2, but let them do the legwork and work with whoever your consultant is, and let them kind of have to do the deep dive and review all this stuff, and then let them come and give you the recommendations of what they think they should do and why. And it works a lot better, trust me. Okay? All right, last slide. Any questions? I tried to keep this brief, and I hope I didn't go over my time. This is the timeline. If you're going to do this, and Mike asked for this a few months ago, and I actually formalized this and put dates on, but if you're going to do this for 7/1 of 2024,
Oops.
timed out.
We didn't either.
But if you're going to do this for 7/1/24, you can see it on your outline here. This is what you need to do. If you want to work with me, I will be the primary guy that handles it.
There it is.
I'm not planning on retiring for a while either, in case you already had that thought.
You're not that old then, huh?
Well, I go fishing in the Florida Keys every year with some buddies of mine. One's 80 and one's 79, and they told me, don't retire when you're in your 60s.
Okay, so you're in your 60s. Huh?
They said everybody they know that retired when they were that age are dead, and
Yeah.
everybody that's still, one of them's 80, he's got 38 employees, and I'm not going to do that. And the other one's a retired surgeon, but he volunteers 2 days a week at a clinic down in Marathon, Florida, and then he's from Boston. And when he's not in Florida for the winter, then he's doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have a standing reservation on the same boat to fish together. So I know these guys well, and they're good guys. So I'm taking their advice. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy what I do.
Catch some wahoo and own. Bring it home.
Questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes,
It was a
thank
good
you.
presentation. I appreciate the
I'll
details.
leave this with you. I
this
just roughed that out.
Timeline is
Appreciate you.
really critical if we're going to get this done.
Newspapers.
Yeah.
And, at this point, we've got support from the council to dive into this and come up with a plan, and I think it's really pastime to really take a hard look at this and see if we can make it work and move forward with it.
Yeah, I
I think it solves a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, we have.
As Danny said, not next year, maybe not the year after, but over the next several years.
You got to start, and if you're here and you need to be here, it might take 3 or 4 or 5 years to get where you need to be,
Yeah,
but you got to start.
You got to start, and
I think the clinic too, whether it's joining DeKalb or eventually getting our own, is so key in this to have. I think you have much more control when you have the clinic to control costs.
well, and we're in an era where you can't hardly get in to see the doctor. I just waited 6 months to get in to see my ENT. Or not 6 months, 6 weeks to get in to see my ENT. A lot of times they want to give you a nurse practitioner if you go to your local doctor. And
They just do
nothing against
primary care. They're not getting into specialized care there.
But even for general, even if you just want to see a doctor, sometimes it's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the clinic's got to be an integral part of this. Dottie, how many of our folks on their sheet don't have a family physician marked down?
Yeah, when
A lot.
the emergency contact form, I'll bet it's about 50% of our employees do not write on that form that they have a PCP. So
So you know
those
they're
are
going to
probably
they're
the
going-
individuals who are using the ER. You know, I mean, DeKalb does have a clinic, but it's not like it used to be when there was a ReadyMed here in town. You know, we are really missing out by not having that thing in our community, and so they're using ERs. If you remember, I looked into that when I got that information and found out that most of our visits were during the week. They weren't even on the weekends.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, we're going to have 2 or 3 dock in the boxes here in Auburn. There's one in the Kroger Plaza now. There's one going to go in where McAllister's Deli is going to go in next to McDonald's. And I don't know what those will do. Maybe bring the cost down. But I wanted to make a point to what Bill was saying about trying to get into his ENT. One of the things that, now my wife has some GI issues and she needs to see the GI physician. And most often it is 6 or 7 or 8 weeks out. And what's the advice of the physician office? You need to see him now, go to the emergency room. And that's how you get into the GI, or that's how you get into the specialist right now to avoid the office hours. So they're actually self-directing some of that stuff. So.
And that's.
Yeah, that's money, because
yeah.
pretty much, the orthopedics are still independent, but pretty much everybody's owned by a hospital now. They're not independent groups anymore.
Yeah, they're all. Well, I really appreciate your presentation. I was able to follow it as well as any I've ever.
This one made sense.
It's one of my weak points is following insurance conversations, and I really appreciated your presentation.
And just some preliminaries too, Dottie and I guess Mike and Rick have talked about probably starting out, like you have 2 plans now with your fully insured, like you have a PPO benefit plan and a high deductible, qualified high deductible with the HSA plan. So we would probably recommend just starting out, just cloning those. You can do those identical plans under a fully insured basis now. You can do the same thing self-funded. And we would give no loss, no gain. So like if we take it over 7-1, no loss, no gain means like if you're on the plan, Jim, and you've got all your deductible, all your out-of-pocket for 2024 satisfied, we're going to give you credit for the rest of 24, just like you stayed with Anthem. And if your spouse, let's say, it has half her deductible satisfied, we're going to give her credit just like for the half she's got satisfied. So there's no penalty or nothing for it. It'll be a very smooth transition with your employees. And we'll get in a lot more detail, but that would be the best way to start out, is just keep everything your plans are really pretty good, the two you offer. And employees, I assume, can pick one or the other each year. So, you know, you would still keep those plans. It would be a lot simpler to do it that way.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Dottie. Come in.
You got my email, my phone number.
I know where to find you.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone? Susan abandoned us.
Oh, no. You must have something. Oh, okay.
Yeah. We are adjourned.
This far.
Okay.
Yeah, we are adjourned.
Hurry back. We might have something.
That was the best insurance presentation I've seen so far. Because it was 30,000-foot view, here's where you can save money. Not getting into
We're
stuff we
adjourned,
don't
Susan.
understand. You know, I think I could deal, I think someone like him is exactly. Especially success with the schools program that they've had in the city. I mean,
We don't want her.
I like that.
Yeah, we just, appointed
And we need to move on it quickly, though, if we're gonna do it. I don't
Well,
wanna go,
yeah.
I don't wanna go down to the wire again and then have to be forced to go back to us fully funded because we didn't, you know what I'm saying?
We've got to start by the middle of January, get
Oh, yeah.
get the thing rolling at the
Yeah,
latest.
follow his timeline, so we're,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not afraid to do that.